Raider Nation showing up in the heart of the Who Dat Nation. Greg Papa, Tom Flores, Jim Plunkett up in the broadcast booth, and I had to contain you guys just walking back into the Superdome. This was the site of your Super Bowl 15 victory, and for Dennis Allen, also a homecoming. The youngest head coach in the NFL, really broke into the NFL the 5 years he was on Sean Payton's staff, culminating in a Super Bowl 44 victory. And good to see Sean Payton back. He's in remarkably good shape. Of course, missed the entire season last year, the year-long suspension after the Bounty Gate scandal. Let's check out our Jeep keys to the game, brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Want to get Darren McFadden rolling tonight. He will play the first half along with Rashad Jennings. Don't turn the football over. And a great challenge tonight, Tom, in slowing down one of the great offenses in pro football. This will be a nice warm-up for the Raiders against Drew Brees to get set for Andrew Luck in the season opener and Peyton Manning in Week 3 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Drew Brees is one of the masters at getting the ball to all his receivers, outside, inside, especially Jimmy Graham, who's one of the best, if not the best tight end in pro football right now. Colston on the outside, Moore, Kenny Stills, one of their draft choices this year, young rookie. Courtney Roby coming back off an injury from last year. There's a lot of weapons that they have, but one thing, Greg, they want to do, they've said this whole offseason, they want to more balance. They want to run the ball a little bit better.
Raiders won the toss. Raiders are wearing black tonight on our radio and TV simulcast. The Saints like to wear white during the preseason. And it was Dennis Allen and Sean Payton who talked this morning, and they don't want Thomas Morstead, who's going to kick off here, one of the great kickoff specialists and punters in pro football, to just drive this through the back of the end zone. They want Josh Cribbs to get a return. So what does Morstead do, Plunk? He drives it through the back of the end zone.
Yeah, they wanted to practice, see what some of these players, young players in particular, can do on special teams, because this is the time where you can make the club by performing well on special teams.
Was Morstead supposed to pull out the driver there, Tom? I don't know. He was supposed to hit that to the goal line.
I thought he was supposed to pull out his wedge.
Yeah. All right, Matt Flynn, the Raider quarterback, 4 of 5, 37 yards in the win over the Dallas Cowboys last Friday night at home. Of course, returning here to the state of Louisiana. His senior year, he was the starting quarterback for the LSU Tigers, so Dennis Allen knows he has a champion as a starting quarterback. Raiders go to an offset eye to start. Marcel Reese slides to the right of Darren McFadden. There's Flynn, a short drop and a throw over the middle behind Denarius Moore, and nearly intercepted there by Keenan Lewis. A bad throw there by Matt Flynn on the in cut. He threw it behind Denarius Moore, who will start alongside Rod Streeter at wide receiver, and we'll see Bryce Butler as a third receiver tonight. Darren McFadden and Marcel Reese are the halfback-fullback combination with Richard Gordon. Alex Barron takes over for Jared Valdir. Lucas Nix back in the lineup after missing last week with a bruised scapula. Wisniewski at center, Andre Girard for Mike Brycel at right guard, and Khalif Barnes at right tackle. So they run straight ahead to McFadden on 2nd and 10. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 6. It is a new 3-4 look for the Saints. Rob Ryan, the former Raider defensive coordinator, coordinates the 3-man look of Hicks Bunkley and Cam Jordan, the former Cal Bear. Jay Richardson, the former Raider, they're making him an outside linebacker along with Mel Smith. They will not play Curtis Lofton or Jonathan Bilba tonight due to injury. Good secondary, Jabari Greer and Keenan Lewis are the corners, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. Roman Harper, one safety, along with Malcolm Jenkins. And we'll see the young rookie Kenny Vaccaro play quite a bit, their number 1 pick out of the University of Texas. 3rd down and 6 Raiders. Flynn out of the gun. Time, throws middle, and a one-hand catch there by Osbury. And then he fumbled the ball, and Denarius Moore will recover it back. And they're going to give him, it is the Raider ball on the 43-yard line. First he made an amazing one-hand catch with a left hand, and then he lost the ball, but I think they're going to say he was down by contact and give him the yardage out near midfield.
Yeah, the big decision will be, did he make the catch? And he did make the catch, and the ground caused the fumble.
But what a catch. That's a great catch by Osbury, and that's what Coach Allen is looking for, somebody who can make those big plays down the field, even in tight coverage.
We talked about that in the meeting today, about somebody at tight end stepping up and making the plays.
No challenge from Sean Payton. They're going to rule the catch a good one, a 24-yard gain. Flynn, a 3-step drop, looks left, comes back right in the progressions. Now a roll out, throws short, and it's caught there by Mastrud, the tight end. But we're not talking a lot about, Tom, when you look at Gordon and Osbury and the rookie Rivera, but Jaron Mastrud is a very good inline blocker who could quite possibly make this football team.
Well, they got a ton of tight ends. They had 6 tight ends right now. 2 of them drafted players, along with Gordon from last year and Osbury from last year. So, 3 of them are going to have to step up and make this team.
2nd and 3 Raiders on the Saint 45. They go to a heavy set in the formation as McFadden runs off the right side. That time they motioned Osbury flunk into the backfield next to Marcel Reese. Went to a double fullback, kind of that Green Bay Packer wishbone look behind the quarterback, and they tried to run power straight ahead behind Darren McFadden.
They did. It was a little tough. The defense clogged that hole up pretty good. It was tough for McFadden to find a hole to run through. But it still makes it 3rd and short, a good situation you want to be in if you're on offense. And you go back a couple of plays, Matt Flynn is doing what, they're asking him to do. Gets in a little bit of trouble, rolls out, finds a receiver down the field. He's making the offense move down the field.
3rd and 1 Raiders on the New Orleans 43. Rod Streeter goes out wide right. 22 personnel in, 2 backs, 2 tight ends. Play action, Flynn out of a heavy set, looks to roll and throw, and it's incomplete. As he threw back across the middle there to Osbury. Let's see what the Raiders do on 4th and 1 here.
They had a receiver down the field completely wide open, and Matt Flynn just did not see him.
I don't
Rod Streeter?
There wasn't a defender within 20 yards.
I couldn't see the number on who it was down the field.
They only had 1 receiver in the game. They went to 2 backs and 2 tights, and Dennis Allen, coach, is going to go for it here on 4th and 1 on the New Orleans 43. Why not?
I think that was a decision all along. If they don't pick it up on 3rd down, they'll go for on 4th because it's very short.
Now they run an offset out of the right. Reese ahead of Darren McFadden on 4th and 1. And they give it to McFadden off the right side, and he got stopped. He did not get it. Ramon Humber got in there and made the tackle along with David Hawthorne. The Saints are not playing because of injury. They're 2 inside backers in this 3-4 defense, Curtis Lofton and Jonathan Vilma. And the backup stepped in there and stopped McFadden.
Yeah, sure did. I mean, that was just a little short counter lead, and they stuffed it pretty good. There was nothing. There was no movement on the right side.
And even though they beat Kansas City last week, the Saints did. They only gave up 215 yards of offense to the Kansas City Chiefs, so that defense is pretty stout.
Ramon Humber, the linebacker, nobody blocked him. He just shot the aid gap and stuffed McFadden. 1st and 10 for Drew Brees and the Saints. Mark Ingram, Heisman Trophy winner, the lone back. They're going to bootleg a Brees to the right. He throws, and it is caught, juggled out of bounds. They're going to give him the catch. And it's caught there by Kenny Stills, the rookie round 5 out of Oklahoma, who they give him the catch 2 feet inbounds on the Raider 42-yard line. Drew Brees last year, and those are bad numbers for Brees. 5,100 yards and 43 touchdowns. He did throw 19 interceptions, and of course it's off the season before when he set an all-time league record when he threw for 5,476 yards. Brees throws middle, caught. That's a 1st down to Darren Sproles, tackled by Charles Woodson. Darren Sproles will be their change of pace back. They are going to start Mark Ingram tonight, along with Jed Collins. Pierre Thomas will not play. Nick Toon, Lance Moore, the receivers. No Marcus Colston, and of course Jimmy Graham. The offensive line, Charles Brown, Ben Grubbs, Brian De La Puente out of Cale, Jerry Evans, the 4-time Pro Bowler, and Zach Streep at right tackle. 1st and 10, New Orleans on the Raider 33. Collins, the fullback, in motion. Now it's a toss to Darren Sproles, a sweep there, and he got tackled for a loss in the backfield. Beautifully done by Kevin Burnett, the weak side linebacker, who comes up hobbling. Hopefully he's okay. As we check out the Raider defense, their line already decimated by injuries. No Pat Sims, no Vance Walker, no Lamar Houston tonight. The linebackers are Roach Burnett and C.O. Moore. And the secondary so improved. Mike Jenkins and Tracy Porter, the former New Orleans Saint, Charles Woodson and Tyvon Branch. How's Burnett? He's walking around a little better, huh? That was a 4-yard stuff on the toss sweep to Ingram. Now they run Ingram in a power set right. Got stacked up and dropped. Nicely done by the Raider front. Christo Bilakidi and the new middle backer Nick Roach combine on the tackle of Mark Ingram. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 12.
Yeah, nice job by McGee on that one in stuffing the point of attack and forcing the ball carrier to take a stutter step and changes the momentum.
3rd down coming up for Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. 3rd and 12 on the Raider 35. Now they go empty set, 5 on the line. 2 are right and 3 are left for Drew Brees. Plenty of time, too much time. Throws incomplete. Nice coverage there by Josilio Hansen on the young receiver Nick Toon, who was the son of Al Toon, the former New York Jet. And the Saints thought about going for it for a moment, but now they are going to bring on the special teams.
That's some of the trouble that the Raiders had last week on defense, not being able to put a pass rush on the quarterback and giving them too much time to throw the ball, but they covered well down the field and they made a stop that time.
Nice coverage by Josilio Hansen, who played a lot of good nickel corner for the Raiders a year ago. This will be a 53-yard attempt by Garrett Hartley, their Super Bowl 44 star. And he's got the distance, and Hartley right down the middle. So nice to kick inside this dome. We wonder what Janikowski would do here, Tom.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see it later in the evening. So the Saints get a 53-yarder from Garrett Hartley, and Sean Payton jumps ahead of Dennis Allen, 3-0 on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Yard line, the Raiders gave it to New Orleans on their own 43, going forward on 4th down and getting stuffed. So the Raider defense did a nice job, minus Lamar Houston tonight, to hold the Saints from scoring. They did get a long field goal, but they did not get in the red zone.
No, they didn't. They played very well on 3rd down to prevent that first down completion. But you can't give a good field position to a team like the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees. You've got to protect that football and get those first downs.
This should be a shorter kickoff. Garrett Hartley will kick it. Cribbs muffed it right through his arms into the end zone. He has to go back and take a knee. So Hartley is not their kickoff guy. They have Morstead, their punter, do it, Tom. Cribbs still set up in the back of the end zone and then came up and just dropped the ball.
Yeah, exactly what Coach wanted. He wanted a chance to return.
We're back on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
Raiders Broadcasting Network, the Raiders trail New Orleans 3-0. I talked to Sean Payton, the head coach of the Saints, before the game for about 15 minutes. He had so much to say about Dennis Allen. Before he knew Dennis Allen, coaches were talking about him. Then after the Super Bowl, owners and general managers were talking about him. Greg, he said he's a coach. His attention to detail is outstanding. He knows the personnel in this league, and he thinks that the Raiders have an outstanding coach for the future. And he also talked about his relationship with Al Davis, Greg. When he interviewed with Al Davis on 2 separate occasions, after a full day of interviews, he went home and Al Davis called him at night and kept him on the phone for hours after that. Back to you.
All right, JT, hand off to Darren McFadden. And again, moving this new 3-4 front of the Saints has been difficult so far, Tom, as he got sledgehammered down there. Short gain for Darren McFadden, only got a couple of yards. Last week against the Dallas Cowboys, Darren McFadden carried the ball 3 times and only picked up 5 yards.
Yeah, not much space. They're not giving him the creases that he needs to break through and get into the secondary. That's where he can make things happen.
And Sean Payton came very close to being a Raider head coach a couple of times when he was the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Now they motion into an eye. Marcel Reese ahead of McFadden, a play action. Here's a bust through. They got through the block of Alex Barron. Almost an interception as Flynn shoveled the ball forward. And it was right there in the linebacking core. It was off the hand of Darren McFadden. But that was a missed block there by Alex Barron, the new left tackle, taking over for Jared Valdir, that allowed the penetration there.
Yeah, just let the defensive end get in there way too early with an inside move, and you've got to protect that inside, make the guy go up the field. There's no question about that, especially those tackles.
That's Cameron Jordan, the former Cale Bear, who was New Orleans' #1 pick a couple of years ago. So Alex Barron on the quarterback's blind side, replacing Jared Valdir, who did have successful surgery on that torn tricep today. 3rd down and long, and now we have a whistle come in, a false start penalty on the Raiders.
False start, offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So hard to hear inside the dome, Plunk. The Raiders may have to go to a silent count, even though it's a preseason game. It is tough playing indoors.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, the noise level is very high, but you got to, as they say in the old days, hold your water, and especially for a wide receiver to jump offsides, that's really unacceptable, because all he's doing is looking at the ball. He's not even listening to the snap count.
That was Bryce Butler, Tom, who was playing in the slot here with the first-team offense. In fact, Bryce Butler goes in motion and circles back out. They're going to look at him as a slot receiver here with Moore and Streeter. Here he is from the slot, throw behind him by Flynn, and the Raiders will punt the ball as they fed the ball to Bryce Butler. But again, Matt Flynn threw that short one behind the intended target.
Yeah, he did, and Bryce Butler made a rookie mistake in trying to go backtrack and go wide and try to think he's going to outrun these guys. You don't outrun these guys at this level. He's trying to get extra yards, and in doing so lost about a yard.
Raiders are going to alternate punts, literally punt to punt tonight, as this competition to be Shane Leckler's successor is heating up. So Chris Kluwe will have the first punt for the Raiders. And Cadet is back to return for the New Orleans Saints. Travaris Cadet, who was a preseason star a year ago, 25-yard line, 35-40. And he rolls out to the New Orleans 43-yard line. So a nice return there. Long punt by Kluwe of 57 yards, but a great return by Cadet. Rashad Jennings on the tackle for the Raiders. Saints get the ball back up 3-0 on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. 74 yards for a touchdown to ice the Super Bowl. What a moment. The, by far, single biggest play in the history of the franchise. And he made one the game before against Favre. And the interception to force overtime in the NFC title game here. There's Breeze throwing out for a fullback. Collins, who was not looking. And right on cue, it is Tracy Porter who rolled up there in coverage, boys.
Yeah, he almost, I'm not sure what the pattern was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be a flat pattern, and he broke up the field because he was covered.
Tracy Porter, a round 2 draft pick of the Saints in 2008, 4 years here. And he went to Denver last year before Dennis Allen got him as a Raider, and Reggie McKenzie's a free agent. Boy, they had some good secondary players in that 2009 Super Bowl 44 winning team. Jabari Greer came in from Buffalo. Darren Sharper came in. Here's Breeze back on 2nd and 10, going deep against Porter. Caught by Jimmy Graham all the way to the Raider 2-yard line. That is no ordinary tight end, guys. No. That may be the best tight end in pro football.
Well, the fact that he could go deep like that against a corner and get the edge obviously with his size, one thing, Jim, but his speed is deceptional.
Yeah, even not only executed on both ends of the route, great route, runs right by Tracy Porter and perfectly thrown by Drew Brees.
There's the handoff to Mark Ingram, breaks a tackle and walks into the end zone for a New Orleans touchdown. The Raiders blitzed Nick Roach on the deep one to Jimmy Graham, Tom. It looked like there was no safety help, but you expect a corner to be able to cover a tight end. But Jimmy Graham, the former Miami basketball player, is 6'7". Here Andre Carter lost the edge there, and Graham got wide on him and walked in the end zone.
Yeah, that was an easy run-in for Graham. Graham, they're expecting him to stay healthy this year and contribute a lot to the running game, which is the one thing that they want to improve on, as we've said quite a bit this first half.
But, once again, the Raiders blitz weren't able to get to the quarterback, and, in the end, it's going to hurt you if you can't put pressure on the quarterback.
The first time Tracy Porter is playing against Drew Brees, and he tilted his head up a little bit, meaning I'm going deep to Jimmy Graham, and he got behind Porter. Saints up 10-0 midway through the first quarter on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
This trail the Saints by a score of 10-0. Don't miss a moment of Raiders football this season. Great ticket packages are available, whether you can make every game or not. There's a ticket package for you. Call 1-800-RAIDERS. Raiders staff are in the office right now during the live broadcast at 1-800-RAIDERS. Exciting 2013 home games include RG3 and the Redskins, Big Ben and the Steelers, and the new look Eagles under Chip Kelly. That's 1-800-RAIDERS or visit Raiders.com. Back to you, Greg.
All right, and it all starts September the 15th with a home opener against MJD and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cribbs will take this one out on a hit by Hartley, 10-15, and he's hit and tackled shy of the 20-yard line. Going back to that big ball down the sideline over Tracy Porter, I apologize. That was the young receiver, Nick Toon, who made the catch, and not Jimmy Graham. We are so high here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We're on the very top of the stadium. It looked like Jimmy Graham, and I do apologize. It was not the tight end. It was Nick Toon who made the catch on Porter, which is certainly more understandable than the wide receiver. So the Raiders now, after the Cribbs short kickoff return, will start inside their 20-yard line. Double shift. Mastrud, the tight end, lines up tight right. Marcel Reese goes out left. Picked up there by Keenan Lewis. The lone back is McFadden. Flynn, a 3-step drop. He gets hit and sacked. And he's back on the 10-yard line. He got steamrolled there by Ramon Humber, who was starting at inside linebacker for Curtis Lofton. They blew it, a blocking assignment there right in the middle.
Yeah, they just blew it, the right tackle, right guard. There was a little twist combination rush there. Linebacker coming a little late. Complete blow up.
Well, we know Rob Ryan is the Saints defensive coordinator, boys. He loves to blitz, just like his brother Rex is the head coach of the Jets and his dad, Buddy. So he's going to bring all kinds of exotic pressures tonight, Jim, even in the preseason.
Oh, they come after you. There's no doubt about it. All the Ryans love to come after the quarterback.
2nd and 16, inside handoff to McFadden. And he gets hit hard by the rookie safety, Kenny Vaccaro, who was a real good-looking young football player, Tom. They took him with the 14th overall selection this year out of Texas. He hammered McFadden down after a 9-yard gain.
Yeah, good size, too, for a safety. He is 217 pounds. A guy that can run pretty fast, too. I think we have him down as a 4.58. And then we saw there, he can tackle with some authority.
They say he's a young Rodney Harrison. They call him the hit man, the Tasmanian devil. He really hits. 3rd down and 7 for Flynn. He gets hit from the blind side by Cameron Jordan and sacked. So Alex Barron's first night replacing Jared Valdir-Plunk is not going well against the speed of Cameron Jordan.
He's having a tough time controlling that backside of the quarterback, and that's what you got to do. And the quarterback's got to trust that backside is protected by your tackle. And he is having a tough night, as you mentioned, especially with the speed coming up the field, getting to the quarterback. Can't let that happen.
Now Marquette King will have his first punt of the night. Again, they're going to alternate between Chloe and King. Punt to punt. Cadet, who had a nice punt return a moment ago. Don Condo does snap, and King gets this one away, and it's a blast. A nice twirling ball taken by Cadet 30. Flag goes down, a block and a back on the Saints, and a nice tackle by Usama Young at the New Orleans 36-yard line.
Yeah, that was a definite block in the back, and it's going to put them back even further than they are. Excellent coverage on that. There was not much of a run back.
Another 57-yard punt. Chloe had one a moment ago, and now Marquette King has one. Jerome Boger, our referee, will tell us who blocked in the back.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 20. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, New Orleans.
It's on A.J. Davis, a backup cornerback. As he blocked in the back, Taiwan Jones Plunk, who was one of the great gunners in pro football. Taiwan got down there early and forced the block in the back. That picks up the Raiders 15 yards. Raiders down 10-0 in New Orleans on the Raiders broadcasts, radio and TV simulcaster. Raiders football brought to you in part by Navy Federal Credit Union, proud to have served the armed forces and their families for 80 years. Be a part of something great. Visit us at NavyFederal.org. Kelly Skipper, the Raider running back coach, talking to Darren McFadden over on the sideline as the Raider D is out there now. 1st and 10. Breeze hands off to Mark Ingram, the Heisman winner from Alabama. Cuts inside on Mike Jenkins. Had a nice gain there. Out to around the 27-yard line. He got 5.
But defensively they seem to be controlling the run pretty well, although they gave up about 5 yards on that play. But what they've got to find a way to do is put more pressure on that quarterback, not give up those big plays.
Ingram is going to play a lot tonight in the first half with the injury to Pierre Thomas. He's out with a groin. And Mark Ingram has been a disappointment as a pro his first couple of years in the NFL. 2nd and 5. Breeze 3-step drop. Looks right. Comes back left. Catch made by Stills, the wide receiver. And he's tackled by Tracy Porter. And a flag came down from the deep secondary on the tackle, I believe, of Porter. Is it a face mask, or it's going to be a face masking penalty, a 15-yarder on Tracy Porter. Here's Jerome Boger.
At the end of the play, personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, number 31. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
One thing about Breeze, he scans the field so well. Look right, came back across the formation outside the numbers left, and it was Porter grabbing the face mask as Stills on the tackle.
Yeah, he grabbed it and jerked it pretty good at that one. But going back to Breeze, he's able to do that, Greg, because there's absolutely no pressure on him. He looked right and took his time and came back left, and there he was.
And remember, we saw Kevin Burnett with a bad ankle hobbling around earlier. His twin brother, his brother Kalen, has replaced him. Breeze throws out right, and a catch made by Stills. As again, he scans the whole field and then throws right up against the sideline to Stills. The play design of Sean Payton and the Saints. This will come back at a hold.
Number 82. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Oh, there on Ben Watson, the former New England Patriots, but they use the full width of the field, Flunk, better than any team in pro football.
Oh yeah, they spread that defensive secondary out quite a bit, and linebackers have a lot of territory to cover. And if you can protect Brees the way they're protecting him, he's going to find somebody that's open.
Yeah, that time, Jim, I think he went to, I believe it was the third outlet. Scanned the whole field.
The hold on Watson, and now there's some pre-snap movement to the Raiders jump, or were they drawn?
No, right tackle.
False start on New Orleans.
Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's on Zach Strief, the right tackle. You got good eyes up here, Tom. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I have to. We're up here.
Way up here.
We're higher than the highest. We're up here by the sound speakers.
And you guys were almost as high as we are back on January the 25th of '81 when you won the Super Bowl in this building.
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl 15 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom, your first as a head coach. Here's Brees back on first down, throws middle. Here's Jimmy Graham. And he's tackled by Joselio Hansen on the New Orleans 46-yard line. How high are we? Well, we're high. There's the ceiling, and there we are. This building, one of the older ones in the NFL, the Louisiana Superdome, built in '75, now known as the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and this hosted the most recent Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens win over the 49ers in February. This great city has hosted 10 Super Bowls and 9 inside this dome. Here's Brees back, seam route, catch, first down, and nope, just a little bit shy of it. Lance Moore is tackled about a yard shy of the first down by his former teammate, Tracy Porter. So they're going at Tracy Porter tonight.
Yeah, they are. That ball comes out pretty quick. It's pretty hard to defend, to get any kind of pass rush. That ball comes out so quick. And as usual, it's right on the mark.
Yeah, simple slant route. Easy to throw, easy to complete.
Drew Brees has just had a magnificent 7-year run here in New Orleans since taking over as the quarterback and leaving the Chargers. He has averaged 4,796 yards a year averaged and 35 touchdown passes, and he's had some years where he's obliterated those marks. There's a third and short, a lob over the top to his former Charger teammate Sproles, and it's a first down. What a great touch pass that was out in the left flat plunk where he dropped it right over the coverage, right into the bucket to Sproles.
Hey, not only that, he read the defense perfectly. They came on a blitz. He read it. It was a pickup by the quarterback. He saw the guy running free up the middle and just let it go right on the money. Drew Brees can do it all, obviously. He can throw the ball down the field. He can loft it like he just did with a nice touch on it. He can fire it on those slants.
That was Andre Carter, who was in coverage on Darren Sproles in a zone blitz. There's a handoff to Ingram coming off the left side, and the Raiders stack that up and drop him for no gain. All the injuries on the Raider defensive front. Jack Crawford is now playing on that defensive front. We've not seen Pat Simmons, Vance Walker, or Lamar Houston at all for Dennis Allen, Tom, and he's getting concerned now as D-line has not practiced much together in Napa. And next week he's hoping to get him back, because when you go to Seattle, you're not going to play many guys in that final preseason game.
Yeah, you're going to have to not try to play many guys but you might have to because of injuries.
There's Sproles out right flat, runs around, Hansen spun around, but not down. Tyvon Branch thought he had spun onto the ground, but Darren Sproles able to stay on his feet, and we'll see where they spot him on the 21-yard line, very close to a New Orleans first down.
Yeah, that was a quick screen to the halfback coming out of the backfield, and Sproles, once he catches the ball in open field, he's tough to bring down. Number one, he's really built low to the ground, great balance and great quickness.
6 years in San Diego, many of those with Drew Brees, and it was Brees that lobbied him to come here after Reggie Bush left and went to Miami. Bush now in Detroit. Here's a first down, counter run to Sproles, cuts back inside, and he bangs down to the Raiders 16-yard line. He's so good out in space in the screen game, Tom, but he's also a very good inside runner, Darren Sproles.
Well, he makes good quick cuts. He's very low to the ground, so he can make those tough cuts that are pretty tough to bring down. It's tough to zero in and get a whole piece of them.
Plus, that defense of the Raiders has been out there a long time. They're being worn down by the offensive onslaught by the New Orleans Saints.
8 New Orleans first downs. The Raiders only 1. Brees back. Look at the time he has. Just looking it over, a 3-man rush. Going to time this play with a calendar. End zone. Touchdown to Stills. right in the front pylon against Porter because you can't cover that long. They had no rush at all time. That time they played coverage, rush 3 and block 8, and Breeze had about 10 seconds.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, that's impossible. I don't care who you are back there. You're playing the zone. Eventually, a guy like Breeze is going to find the open guy, and the receiver is going to work himself back. I mean, he had forever. They ended up with just 3 men rushing, 5 guys blocking 3. That's a joke.
He finally moved around, Jim. He got antsy because of that clock the quarterbacks have in their head, but there was no pressure on him the entirety of the play.
None whatsoever. 3-man rush against 5 people blocking. Tough to get to the quarterback.
Here's the point after by Hartley, and the Saints take a 17-0 lead. So the Raider first-team defense that played so well against Tony Romo and the Cowboys breaking down here as they went to coverage, and Breeze rolling left just hit Stills right in front of Porter on the left pylon, the front pylon in the end zone.
It's not a good homecoming for Tracy Porter tonight.
Yeah, and you knew they were going to get tested with Drew Brees, because Drew Brees is the master if you give him time. Even if you don't give him time, he knows when to get rid of the ball, as he did on that one blitz, and when he got the ball to Sproles on a little swing route down the sideline.
And if you were to make a list of the all-time Raider antagonists over the years, I think Drew Brees may be your starting quarterback, Tom, whether it was in San Diego with LT and that bunch, Gates and Vincent Jackson, and the Raiders have not been able to beat Brees as a Saint, whether it's the regular season or the preseason. He has been at his very best against the Raiders.
Yeah, he's had some pretty big games there, and unfortunately we don't play him that much when he's here.
Played him last year, and he threw 3 touchdown passes, and the Saints beat the Raiders at the O.Co. So they hit him over the top to Tune for a big one, Plunk, and this one was more of a nice drive. 9 plays, 78 yards, 5 off the clock, and Breeze was 6 for 6 on the drive.
Hey, you can't beat that. I mean, he has, not to be overstated, but he's a master. You can't replace that experience and his accuracy.
There's Josh Cribbs on the kickoff return, 5 yards deep. How's he running on this knee? 10. Does not make the 15, hits across the 15 to around the 16-yard line. Will Herring, former Seattle Seahawk, on the tackle after a 22-yard return. The Raiders have to assess Josh Cribbs, coach, and see if he's running well, as the Browns released him in the offseason as he had off-season knee surgery. Is he running well to you?
Well, he doesn't look like anything exceptional right now. He hasn't had a lot of room to run. That was a pretty good kick because it was to the side in the end zone. There's nothing special right now about Josh Cribbs.
Now, he's not Jacoby Ford fast. He's more power, but he's got to show more burst than that. 1st and 10, Raiders in the eye. They're to run McFadden straight ahead, going to roll out right. Nice run there. Fly came in, though. The umpire threw it. It's going to be a hold on the Raiders' offensive line, presumably. Raiders can't get a break here tonight.
Holding, offense, number 45. 10-yard.
It's on the Pro Bowl
Half the
fullback,
distance to the goal.
Marcel Reese.
First down.
So it has not been a good first quarter for the Raiders in Dennis Allen's return to the Superdome.
No, it hasn't. No.
You're absolutely right. And you get a good play like that by Darren McFadden, good cutback, and the penalty occurs.
And that will be the end of the first quarter, and they are going to leave the starters in for the entire first half. So they do have time to play through this. But all New Orleans so far, Saints 17, Raiders nothing after 15 minutes of play inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Geico says just 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. It means you probably should have gone to Geico.com 15 minutes ago. And the Raiders not happy about the first 15 minutes tonight. They've been outgained 158 yards to 38. 1st and 18 now. Raiders back on their 8-yard line. Flynn in the gun, inside handoff for Rashad Jennings. And he's tackled by Humber, the inside linebacker, on the 10-yard line. Short gain. It'll bring up a 2nd down and long. New Orleans Saints, a rebuilt 34 defense under Rob Ryan, the new defensive coordinator. Their 3rd defensive scheme in 3 years. Greg Williams, with the Bountygate scandal, lost his job. They brought in Steve Spagnuolo a year ago. That didn't work out. And now they bring in Rob Ryan, who was with Dallas last year. He knows how to run a 34. 2nd and 15, Raiders back on their 10. Flynn in the gun, bunch formation right, more left. It's a dump out to Jennings. Right flat, breaks one tackle, but Humber, the linebacker, will finish him off. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and long.
I think Matt Flynn made up his mind right away to drop it off to Jennings on the sideline. Hopefully let him pick up some extra yardage, which he did.
The plan, Tom, was to alternate Darren McFadden and Rashad Jennings in the first half. So even though Jennings is playing a bit here, I think we will see Darren before the half is out.
Yeah, I think so. And he needs to get a little bit more work, too. I mean, they haven't had the ball that much on offense.
3rd down and 12, Raiders down 17-0 early in the second quarter. 3 receivers right, Bryce Butler in the slot, and another pre-snap flag comes in. The Raiders another false start inside this dome in Louisiana. They're going to open in the dome in
False
Indy.
start, offense number 77.
It's on Alex
5-yard
Barron.
penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, Alex Barron, he has not played in the NFL since 2010 when he was a Cowboy, guys, and he's the guy right now who gets the first crack to replace Jared Valdir, who had that surgery on the tricep this morning.
And having a tough time in doing so. It's unfortunate having to start, having to do that in this stadium against this noise, against the Saints pass rush.
See how he does here against Cameron Jordan. Jennings comes over to help him with a chip, a dump out to Osbury right flat, and Osbury will be tackled by Malcolm Jenkins, the safety, well shy of the first down, and Osbury is not getting up. He is flat on his back, and he's going to need assistance to get off the field here. See if he pops up. He took a big hit there by Malcolm Jenkins, the former Ohio State Buckeye. Well, the Raiders have already had injury on top of the insult so far tonight. Kevin Burnett left with what looked like an ankle injury earlier. And see what happens to Osbury. Look out for his shoulder here on the hit by Jenkins. That spun around.
Yeah, he fell on his left shoulder. I don't know if that's what the injury is.
Well, he landed hard on the left shoulder, and he went right to the shoulder immediately. So we'll see what the injury is. While they attend to him medically, we will take a break here. Early second quarter in New Orleans. 17-0 Saints over the Raiders. 2 minutes into the second quarter on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
To the Raiders Broadcasting Network, the Raider Image is doing a great job making the guys upstairs look good with their new shirts. How about this jacket? You can go to RaiderImage.com. Up until the 18th, you'll get a 20% discount. The code is Madden, the Hall of Famer Madden. So go to RaiderImage.com. Check out all the new gear, especially Greg Papa, Tom Flores, and Jim Plunkett upstairs, guys.
Even making us look good. There's the kickoff return by Preston Parker on the punt by Chris Cluey. And he runs into Raider territory. 44-yard punt by Cluey. They've been to the Raider Nation and the Raider Image store, and you should be as well. The official store of the Oakland Raiders. So Cluey's punt traveled 44 yards after a 57-yarder earlier, but Bobby April, the new special teams coordinator, coach, cannot be happy with the punt coverage here, as that time Preston Parker had another nice return.
Yeah, that ball was not up in the air very long, so that was a returnable ball. The other one that was turned for a good yardage, the coverage is just poor on the right side.
17-yard return by Parker. Drew Brees stays in at quarterback. Hands off to Mark Ingram coming left. And he drives down to around the Raider 40-yard line. Tackled there by new middle linebacker Nick Roach. And it is Kalen Burnett, the younger brother of Kevin Burnett, who is now in at linebacker because Kevin Burnett left due to injury. So the Raider front seven right now, Plunk, is just not the guys we are going to see in Indianapolis to start the year. No Lamar Houston, no Pat Sims, no Vance Walker, and no Kevin Burnett.
Yeah, that's true, but here's a chance for them to grow up a little bit, get some experience, get some playing time, hopefully improve their game right now.
Jimmy Graham moves in motion right. Second down, Brees a play action to Ingram as eternity throws, and it is caught by Stills, who is having a big first half inside the Raider 20 and down to the Raiders 16-yard line.
Once again, the lack of pass rush is really hurting the Raiders secondary. He's got all day to throw. Stills came all the way across the field from the far side. He was wide open. Nobody could see him behind the secondary.
New Orleans Saints trying to quick snap the Raiders here, but it got whistled down before they could spot the ball. Timeout, Raiders.
Timeout.
Raiders called a timeout here. as there is an injured Raider on the 10-yard line of this. Tracy Porter. Tracy Porter is down now to make this first half even worse. Tracy Porter, the starting right corner, is down on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Well, not a good sight at all. We just have to hope that Tracy Porter is cramping up, Tom, as he is having a very difficult time getting off the field on that right leg. He cannot move that leg at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the injury was. We didn't see a replay on the play. Perhaps we'll see one here shortly, but he is really moving in pain.
Just step by step, he's making his way to the tunnel and back into the Raider locker room. So the Raiders have already lost Kevin Burnett, and now Tracy Porter came in over on the tackle on Stills at the end of it, dropped his shoulder, and then landed. Tyvon Branch fell on him. And the way that looked was he may have been hurt right on the tackle, so maybe it's not just a cramp. Raider defense has been out there a long time. Inside fake to Sproles. Now a dump off to Sproles, right flat. Nice open field tackle there by Joselio Hansen. Plump. What a tackle. Sproles out in space is a tough guy to tackle, but the Raiders played that well. C.O. Moore had one side, and Joselio Hansen had the other.
Yeah, they did an excellent job of keeping inside the two players right there, and Joselio did a great job of making that tackle. It's hard to tackle Sproles in the open field. There's no doubt about that. But he did a very good job.
That's textbook. The linebacker in the corner, outside shoulder, inside shoulder to get Sproles down. There's the stretch hand off the outside zone to Sproles. Good work there.
There's Hansen again. There's Joselio Hansen again making that tackle.
And the Raiders are moving a lot of people around in the front right now just to compensate for the injuries. That was Kalen Burnett, who also shot in there. Strong side linebacker playing on the weak side for his brother Kevin, who went out to injury. Third down and 8 for New Orleans inside the red zone on the Raider 14-yard line. Drew Brees with Darren Sproles, the lone back. 3 receivers, fakes a draw, blitz, Brees lobs, and he overthrew Graham, who was double covered by Tyvon Branch and Usama Young. The two safeties had Graham in a vice grip. Nice coverage there.
Yeah, and that was the first time that Drew Brees had to throw under a little duress because they had a rush right in his face. Two guys were coming, 2 in the black shirts were coming right at him, so he had to get rid of the ball quickly.
Raiders blitz Kalen Burnett and the middle backer Nick Roach. So Brees over on the sideline. The Raiders red zone defense holds, and they'll force the Saints into a short field goal attempt here. A 31-yarder by Garrett Hartley. And inside the dome with no elements at all, he drives it through. And the Saints have a 20-0 lead. 10:19 to play in the first half from New Orleans. Saints 20, Raiders nothing on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Josh Cribbs will try to run this one back. He's getting a lot of good work in. That's the one good thing about the Saints rolling up 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals on the Raiders already. But Josh Cribbs, who was trying to come back from a knee injury, is having a hard time moving. We'll see if he can run a little better here on this next kickoff. Tonight's broadcast of Oakland Raiders preseason football in our radio and TV simulcast brought to you in part by Samuel Adams for the love of beer. And they like all kinds here in the French Quarter. Raiders back to the Crescent City, the site of one of their great victories of all time. As Hartley will kick off. And this is a good one. Josh Cribbs right in the tee, and Saints will come out about 7 yards deep. 10, 15, and right around the 20-yard line. Cribbs still dragging that right leg. Is not running like he did with the Cleveland Browns. Let's get cheered up a little bit, boys. Let's go back to January the 25th, 1981. Raiders up against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. And look at Plunk. He's going to Cliff Branch, I think, here for a short one. Up, Plunk?
Yes, started to step up. Linebacker stepped up to prevent the run, and I found Cliff wide open in the end zone.
Cliff caught 2 touchdowns, a 2-yarder and a 29-yarder. Plunk threw 3 that day. The big one, the left flat to Kenny King, 80 yards. And Jim was the MVP of Super Bowl 15, 13-21 for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. Matt Flynn at quarterback. Jennings, play action. Here's a blitzer getting 3. And a run by Flynn back to the line of scrimmage. He may have avoided the sack as Will Smith who's going to play as an outside linebacker for the first time in his career time after being a rush end in a 4-3. He's now up in a 3-4. He came on a blitz from a 2-point stance there and forced Flynn to run away.
Yeah, they're coming with some little fancy off that 3-man line. That's what Rob Ryan likes. He likes some of those overloaded blitzes. And that time they came from the offensive left side and they came clean.
Yeah, they brought a safety as well. They're putting pressure on the quarterback.
He's a Ryan. He's going to blitz,
right.
and that was a sack, a 1-yard loss to Flynn. So second down 11. Here's another blitz. Roman Harper will sack him back on the 11-yard line.
Yeah, the trouble with that was not a blitz. That was only a 3-man rush, but one of them was a defensive back.
Yeah.
Everybody else was dropping back, including a couple of defensive linemen, and he came clean.
That's the beauty of the 3-man line, Plunk. You don't know where that fourth guy's coming from, and that time it was Roman Harper.
Yeah, those offensive linemen, the guard in particular, have got to keep their head up. He was free, started to help the center when he didn't need to.
That's right. Your man drops off. You better look for somebody else coming. In that case, it was Harper, who came in a kind of a delayed blitz, but you got to keep your eye on him. He's in the blitz location.
This is somewhat understandable with the Raider injuries along the offensive line. Guys are playing in spots they have not been playing in, and Rashad Jennings will not make it back to the line, and the Raiders will punt the football. A flag is down back in the offensive backfield. Do the Raiders hold on that play? Of course.
Yep.
Jerome Boger, what's the news? It's not going to be good.
Holding. Offense. Number. Holding. Offense. Number 69. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
John Khalif Barnes. The only constants throughout camp has been Barnes at right tackle and Wisniewski at center. You lose Valdir at left tackle, now you're playing Barron. Lucas Nix has been in and out with an injury, first a knee and then a scapula bruise. Mike Brycell is hurt. He's late coming back after off-season ankle surgery at right guard time. Yep. 60% of your old line's in chaos.
Yeah, and that was one of the areas that the Raiders were pretty comfortable with going into training camp. That they thought they were going to be much improved.
There's Marquette King's second punt of the game. His first one went 57 yards. This one very high. And that's inside the 30-yard line. Parker with the return breaks one tackle. Michael Rivera, the tight end, and John Kondo, the long snapper, will drop in. Nice punt there, 55-yarder by Marquette King. New Orleans 20, the Raiders nothing. Midway through the second quarter on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
Back on the Raiders Broadcasting Network, the Raiders 12, 20-0. Join us at halftime. Our feature is on the great Sebastian Janikowski. Do you remember what happened in the year 2000 when Al Davis drafted a kicker in the first round? Well, who's had the last laugh? We'll talk about the contract extension and the future, Greg, of Sebastian Janikowski for his career in the silver and black. Back to you.
Well, he's 35 years of age. I think he's going to challenge George Blanda.
He might.
Tommy, and play till what, 48 years of age? Seabass, you're going to have to pull that 11 off his back. Here's Drew Brees setting up a screen. They love the screen game here. Ingram breaks a tackle of a lineman and runs out for a first down. But Christo Belakidi, he read screen.
Right.
He had it stuffed, and he just could not tackle Mark Ingram.
Yeah, they handled that very well except for the tackling part of it, but they read it. He went out there, had his arms wrapped around Ingram's legs. But Ingram, tough little guy, boy.
Yeah, he's a little guy, but he's not little.
No, he's very well built.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to go to a running back by committee this year with Pierre Thomas, Mark Ingram, and Darren Sproles. Now they're going to run Ingram wide on the outside zone. He's tackled by Tyvon Branch right at midfield. Our line judge tonight, we should introduce you to her. This is Sarah Thomas, a 39-year-old mother of 3, who in 2007 made history by becoming the first female to become a official in major college football for Conference USA, and she is attempting to become the first female to work in the National Football League as an official. There she is right next to Sean Payton, Sarah Thomas, who is from the state of Mississippi. So congratulations to her on working this game tonight, and good luck to her.
Yeah, she's getting some coaching down there too, and not from Sean Payton. They wanted the advisory officials. I saw him talking to her on the field and kind of pointing out some issues that she had to pay attention to.
I actually walked in with the officials before the game and saw her and wished her luck tonight. She's doing so far a great job. Here's Drew Brees, going to avoid the Pressure, throw out right to Jimmy Graham. First down, New Orleans. As he beat Mike Jenkins, Jimmy Graham, such a big target at 6'7", and Drew Brees, even though he's only 6 feet tall, Plunk, he still moves well, and he avoided the pressure there to keep the play alive.
He did. It was a good pressure put on by the Raider defense, but he stopped up short, went underneath, and still threw the ball very accurately. I mean, you got to be tip your hat off to Drew Brees. He's a great player.
Yeah, he never takes his eyes off from downfield. He's always got something in mind downfield, even though he's getting rushed.
He is 13 for 16 for 196 yards. Now Ingram will run to around the 35-yard line. He picks up 3. Last year when Sean Payton was suspended incredibly for the entire season, the New Orleans Saints, Tom, actually passed the ball more, way too much. Of course, their defense was wretched. They gave up a league record more than 7,000 yards. But I think with Sean Payton, you think of Sean in a sophisticated passing game, but he wants to get back to running the football this year.
Yeah, he does. And he's more interested in, that's why they're counting on Ingram showing the form that he showed when they took him in the first round a couple of years ago out of Alabama. They're hoping that he regains that running form so that he can be some of that ground game they're looking for.
Yeah, but you always say that rushing helps the passing game with play action and everything else, and it's also vice versa. You're throwing the ball successfully, all of a sudden those ends widen up, they're trying to get up the field, get to the quarterback. All of a sudden that opens up holes for the running game inside.
Spoken like a true quarterback.
Oh yeah.
And a throw out to Darren Sproles.
Timeout, New Orleans.
And the Saints call a timeout here before they face a third down and 1. 3rd and 1, New Orleans. A quick throw out to Sproles, left flat. He was tackled on the Raider 28-yard line. So they'll face a third down here with the Saints up 20-0 inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome right here in the Crescent City of New Orleans, Louisiana. The Raiders are going to fly home right after the game tonight. And they'll get back to Oakland about 3:30 in the morning tomorrow, an off day, but then back on the practice field Sunday afternoon in Napa. This will be the final week of training camp, boys. They will break training camp on Wednesday before they take on the Chicago Bears a week from tonight back at the O.co.
Boy, that seems like very short training camp, doesn't it, Coach?
No, short. I think I think the Saints broke today. I think they're out of camp now. So camps are getting shorter all the time.
It's not like your days when you had double days. 3rd down and 1, handoff to Ingram, first down. So after a 3rd down and 1, they just gave it to Mark Ingram, and he just powers off the left side for a huge gain. 1st and 10, New Orleans. The Saints, and again, you think so much about the passing game. That's their 13th first down. But one thing Dennis Allen correctly pointed out is the power of their offensive line, in particular their 2 guards. Ben Grubbs taking over for Carl Nix at left guard, and Jari Evans, quietly one of the best players in football, the right guard, 4 consecutive times, been all-pro. Here's Sproles, breaks a tackle and spins down to the 11-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, they're really working over the right side of that defensive line. Just back-to-back runs and almost at will, moving the chains.
Darren Sproles just cut inside there on Billikidi. The injury to Tracy Porter, by the way, Plunk, is a groin injury, and he is not coming back. And the injury to David Osbury, as we thought, was a shoulder injury, and this being a preseason game, he's not coming back either. So hopefully it'll just be one game. They'll be back next week for the Bears as they run Sproles off the left side, and Ingram off the left side, and he bangs down to the Raider 10-yard line.
Even though they were a little disappointed in Mark Ingram these last couple of years, he was their leading rusher, a little over 600 yards on the ground.
But they did not run the ball very much last year. They were in the towards the bottom of the NFL in running the ball. Chris Ivory also was a running back last year. They traded to the New York Jets in the offseason. Raiders running people in and out, and they barely get to 11 guys on the field. And now we have a whistle and a timeout called by the Raiders. Dennis Allen not happy.
Timeout, Oakland. They're first. This is a 30-second timeout.
Christo Billikidi and
Bobby,
Stacey McGee, a couple of young guys ran off late.
They only have 10 guys. They only have 10 guys on the field right now. Somebody ran off that wasn't supposed to.
All right, so the Raiders home next week to play the Bears in the all-important 3rd preseason game. Mark Trestman, the former Raider OC, now their head coach. And then One more in Seattle in the preseason, then it starts for real. Raiders will open the year in Indianapolis and then open the home schedule against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Redskins will be in with RG3 in week 4. Chargers and then the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles come in back-to-back weeks, late October and early November. Tennessee Titans will be in, then the Chiefs and Broncos to close it out. 1-800-RAIDERS, and there is a Raider staff member standing by at the Raider offices in Alameda right now to take your phone call and to take your ticket request, and also do it at Raiders.com. Inside handoff to Sproles out of the gun. Nice tackle there by Nick Roach, the Raider new middle linebacker who jumped all over Darren Sproles. You're going to like Roach this year. Good player.
Yeah, he's a fire player, very knowledgeable player, and he's the guider back there. He tells them, all the adjustments, seems to be very knowledgeable. At that time, Andre Carter was the one that got the first piece of the runner and slowed him down, and Roach finished him off.
Andre Carter, when the Raiders start for real, will be a third down nickel rusher, but here with all the injuries, he's playing as a base end where Lamar Houston would play. Breeze on third down, flushed out by Carter. Had a hold there. Yes, the Saints are holding. Breeze running around and lobbing one for the end zone. Broken up beautifully by Phillip Adams, jumping up with the big tight end, Jimmy Graham. And that's going to be a hold on the New Orleans Saints, and their new left tackle, Charles Brown, was holding Andre Carter. The Raiders will decline that penalty.
Holding, offense, number 71. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Once again, just a 3-man rush. They weren't able to get to the quarterback, although they did put a little bit of pressure on him, but he was able to move around because of only the 3-man rush. And he almost got it to the receiver back in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I don't think Jason Tarver wants to be blitzing a lot right now. I think he wants our guys to play. That's therefore the 3-man rush, and knowing that this guy Breeze is going to find somebody open most of the time.
And you also want to evaluate your guys now to see if they can beat man blocking schemes. Hartley with the point after his third, not the point after the field goal, his third field goal of the game. He's got 2 point afters after touchdowns. So New Orleans leading 23-0. I remember a preseason game the Raiders played in Oakland against the Saints, their Super Bowl winning year of 2009. They jumped out 45-0 on the Raiders and won 45-7. And Drew Brees was supposed to play the whole first half that game. It was week 3 of the preseason time. They called it off, and he left late in the first half. So we'll see if they let Brees play the whole first half tonight.
And the other thing, they want to see a lot more of Matt Flynn, but they haven't had the ball very much. He might even go into the second half and play a little bit more, get some more playing time under his belt.
Yeah, even though the coaches always say, well, we want so-and-so to play a quarter or 2 quarters, they also count the number of touches, the number of plays that they all play. And the offense has not had many touches. The first drive they had was decent. After that, they've been 3 and out mostly.
Yeah, I think they've only had 1 first down in the game.
Well, again, the Raiders are going to head back home after the game, and they will play the Bears next week. And then you got to start cutting down the roster after that third preseason game, and they got a real battle going on at punter between Chris Kluwe and Marquette King. You got several very intriguing battles to make this 53. One is, are you going to keep Josh Cribbs or go to Jacoby Ford, or who's going to be your kickoff returner? Cribbs 5 yards deep, 5'10", 15, still not running fluidly on that bad knee, and he has dropped shy of the 20-yard line. That's only a 23-yard return coming so deep into the end zone. So August the 27th will be the first roster reduction from 90 to 75. That'll be after 4 days after the Raiders play the Bears. And the Raiders go to Seattle on August 29th to play the final preseason game, Tom. Then that's the big one. From 75 down to 53 on that Labor Day weekend Saturday. You got to cut 22 guys off the roster.
Yeah, they've changed a lot. They used to have a cut right after the second game and then another one after the third game and then the final one. But now there's just 2 cuts and one of them is huge.
Apparently Darren McFadden will not come back in. Rashad Jennings is in. They blitz, and Will Allen's got a sack. Will Smith, taking to this new 3-4, playing up. Just ran around Khalif Barnside that time and came up with his second sack of the first half.
Well, they've taken their defensive ends. Will Smith played a defensive end last year and then moved them to outside linebackers. And they're like a defensive end from that spot. They're the guys who are going to be blitzing a lot from that side, so the offensive lines have to slide to those outside linebackers.
Nobody blocked Will Smith that time. Philippe Barnes blocked down. Nobody fanned out on the outside linebacker to that side.
Well, you always protect the inside always first, but then somebody's got to pick up that rushing end on the outside.
So Matt Flynn just under siege. Not going well today, but before the game, a big moment for DJ Hayden. He got to put on a black jersey. DJ has been cleared for full contact now. When the Raiders go back to practice Sunday at Napa, he will take off the red no contact jersey, and he will be cleared to go. And next Friday night against the Chicago Bears, come to the O.co and watch DJ Hayden. He should make his Raider debut in Week 3 next Friday night. Here's Matt Flynn, quick throw out behind Michael Rivera, incomplete. Third time Matt Flynn has been under siege the whole first halftime through behind an intended target.
Well, they're giving you a blitz read by bringing the corner off the defensive back off the slot, but really they're not playing man to man. They're dropping off zone blitzes, and they're giving you a false read and forcing you to throw that hot read.
Rob Ryan, a former Raider defensive coordinator, now in New Orleans after a stint in Cleveland and most recently in Dallas. They jump off sides. Cameron Jordan does free play for Flynn, throws downfield, caught for a first down. The Raiders' big first chunk of the game to Bryce Butler as the New Orleans Saints jumped off sides, and Matt Flynn knew he had a free play there.
Yeah, everybody kind of froze on that one because of the offsides.
Offside, defense number 94. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Yeah, you saw some of the pass rush just stopped. They only had a 3-man rush anyway, and it was a nice zone route, and Butler just did a nice job in sitting down in that hole.
There's that man again, 24-yarder to Bryce Butler, who had a 40-yard catch and a 30-yard touchdown catch last week against the Cowboys. Matt Flynn going to step up and now run away from the pressure, and he's out across the 40, dropped down the 41-yard line by David Hawthorne, is playing inside backer for Jonathan Vilma, who had arthroscopic surgery. Raiders trying to squeeze off a play here before the 2-minute warning. 2:10 to go, so some good work here, Plunk, in the 2-minute drill.
And that's what Dennis Allen wanted to see. Maybe not in this particular situation, but he did want to see Matt Flynn work under the 2-minute drill situation.
They're going to play off right before the 2-minute warning. Flynn throws. It is caught by Michael Rivera out to the Raider 45-yard line, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans. It has certainly not been the Big Easy so far in this dome. Raiders down 23-0 with 2 minutes to go in the half on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. All right, Raiders down 23-0 here with 1:59 to go in the first half. Greg Papa, Jim Plunkett, Tom Flores up in our broadcast booth at the very top of the Superdome. JT downstairs, and the Raider coaches, Tom, hard at work trying to clean up a lot that has gone on in this first half wrong, including the quarterback being sacked 5 times.
Yeah, 5 times, and pass protection not very good. Not being able to pick up some of the blitzes, which is kind of annoying because that means they're coming clean. Quarterback has no chance to look down the field. 3rd and 1. They give it to Marcel Reese on the dive. The fullback who was offset left ahead of Rashad Jennings, and he should have the Raider first down. And the Raiders are going to hurry up here, Plunk, and try to get a snap off. Andre Girard playing at right tackle for Brycel gets up slow, but they are going to try to get it going here. 1:40 to go in the half.
Yeah, plenty of time to score a touchdown.
Slot left, Butler inside of Moore. Streeter singled up right. Here's a blitz. They hit Flynn. He throws, and a catch by Denarius Moore in the New Orleans territory, just shy of the first down as Flynn got hit, but he stood in there, Plunk, and took the shot.
Got the first down, too.
It was good delivery by Flynn, knowing he was going to get hit. A guy right on top of him, and yet he threw the ball on target to Denarius Moore.
Yeah, they gave Moore the yardage for the first down. Inside handoff to Jennings, and Jennings will power inside the 35, and he bangs down to the Saint 33-yard line. They're already in field goal range inside the dome with Janikowski's strong leg. A minute to go in the half. This is already the Raiders' longest drive of the game. Matt Flynn in the gun. Jennings to his left, slot right. Butler inside of Streeter, Moore left. Flynn looks right, throws, caught. Butler spins towards the field and rocks out towards the sideline smartly and stops the clock on the Saint 23-yard line.
Yeah, nice job by Butler and a good job by Flint. That ball was thrown, and he got there quickly. Nice arm.
Yeah, it did, and Butler seems to be maturing rather quickly. Nice play on his part. He's going to go inside, saw it wasn't there, took it right out of bounds, stopped the clock.
Again, the Raiders are trying to figure out who their slot wide receiver is with this injury to Jacoby Ford, so they're running Butler inside as a slot. He's a big slot, but Dennis Allen likes that. He can match up with smaller nickelbacks. Here's Flynn out of the gun, looking left to Butler. Now comes right Jennings. Couple of blockers out in front, but they didn't run that well. And Jennings is dropped at about the 18-yard line.
He had a couple of blockers out there, but unfortunately they missed the block.
Yeah.
Timeout, Oakland. Their second.
Andre Gerard
30-second
being
timeout.
one. The Raiders call a timeout. Flynn is up on the line to snap the ball, but his head coach called a timeout. And now they can back away and huddle up.
Yeah, they still have one timeout left, so I think it was necessary to call that timeout in this situation. Give it time to regroup.
Tom, you can just see the continuity and everything the Raiders are doing is just off because of the injuries in the offensive line. That time they ran a screen. Andre Gerard's playing at right guard for Mike Brycell, and he's just slow to get out in space, and they didn't block out in front of the back.
Yeah, you got to be able to block in space. I mean, because the timing on that screen was very good. The blocking was not.
Again, all of the injuries and moving pieces in the O-line, and you just can't have it. 2nd and 4 Raiders on the New Orleans 18-yard line. Flynn in the gun now. Slot left, looks left, now throws end zone for more. Got it! Touchdown! Raiders!
Beautiful throw, beautiful throw.
Right over the top of the helmet of the defender, and a nice catch blocked by Denarius Moore.
Yeah, it was an excellent catch. He bobbled a little bit, but a good throw. There he is bobbling it, but he retains possession before he goes out of the end zone, taps both feet in, touchdown. Like that call when you yell that out.
Yeah, that's what Denarius Moore has to do this year. He's got to be consistent in doing this, and that was an excellent throw and a nice job at controlling the ball by him and his feet.
And he beat Keenan Lewis, who was New Orleans' big free agent signing in the offseason, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, their starting right corner.
Yeah, out of Oregon State.
Nice route there by Denarius Moore. Brilliant catch. And the Raiders with an 11-play, 82-yard drive. So the first half has been most difficult to watch, but this drive at the end is going to give the first team offense, Tom, a good vibe about the game tonight.
Yeah, and the most important that is that that was against mostly New Orleans' first team defense. So it wasn't against the others.
Now it's ones versus ones. There's our Dodge Raiders scoring drive.
Not all our ones.
Well, whatever we got left of them. Yeah. 11 plays, 82 yards, 2:32 off the clock. And Matt Flynn, Jim, with a tremendous pass here. A little pump. And then to the back pylon, he hits Denarius Moore right over Lewis.
Yeah, I like the way he threw it, the timing of that pass in particular. He didn't hold it too long. He gave him a chance to run under the football. Fake, slant, and up. Good job by both.
Nicely done. A little slant and go or a slant of the corner route. Denarius Moore, well, he can make the most difficult of catches, Tom. We saw him his rookie year in Buffalo make a couple of amazing ones, but last year he just had those concentration drops where he would drop very catchable balls. That's the Denarius Moore we saw from his rookie year.
Yeah, that was excellent. This is his third year. Third year's a charm. Usually that's the year you come out.
Matt Flynn coming over to talk to the young wide receivers. Rod Streeter, a second-year guy. Denarius Moore, a third-year guy. Here's the kickoff by Janikowski, and this will be taken to the back of the end zone by Cadet. And he'll take the touchback, and the Saints will go on the 20-yard line. So it's now 23-7 with 31 seconds to go in the half. Denarius Moore had some big games. The Buffalo game his rookie year. How about that Thursday nighter against the San Diego Chargers? Just a tremendous night. They could not deal with him, as Carson Palmer went to him time and time again. Saints will take a knee, and that'll be it for Drew Brees' night. So Denarius Moore gets into the end zone to give the Raiders a touchdown and something to build on in that first team offense.
Yeah, something to build on, and that was a good, nice finish. This game, the Saints obviously outclassed the Raiders, but still, to put together that drive at the end and salvage a dismal first half of offense was very impressive.
Yeah, it was a good confidence builder for that offensive unit. There's no doubt about that. And Matt Flynn as well.
This is the end of the first half.
All right, Moore got the first 6, and Seabass with the extra point. Coming up at halftime on the TV side of our simulcast, a feature on Sebastian Janikowski, the Polish cannon. Saints 23, Raiders 7 at halftime in New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Famous French Quarter in Bourbon Street on this Friday night, and they are celebrating the New Orleans Saints and their high-powered offense. 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. They had 240 yards of total offense and lead the Raiders 23-7 at halftime. Welcome back to our radio and TV simulcast inside the Superdome. You know Jim Plunkett and Tom Flores. The Raiders, Tom, only had 48 yards of total offense in that first half until the final drive. The 2-minute drill, and Matt Flynn out of nowhere leads them 82 yards and a touchdown. They look great there at the end.
And the impressive part about that is they were doing it against New Orleans' first defense. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't against all the substitutions. They were making big catches, and Matt Flynn was making nice throws.
Yeah, Bryce Butler was his go-to guy on that drive, Jim. He had a very good first half, the rookie.
He did. He had 3 catches, and then Denarius Moore comes up with this big touchdown catch for the touchdown, and gets, I think it was a big confidence builder overall.
A little slant and go by Denarius Moore, beating the veteran Keenan Lewis. So here are the final numbers. The Raiders were out first down to 14-6 in that first half. New Orleans had 240 yards of offense, and the Raiders only had 48 yards of offense up until that last drive. And then they have an 82-yard drive. And you look at the final numbers for Matt Flynn, Plunk, and they are surprisingly excellent. 12 of 16, 124 yards, the touchdown, and the QB rating of 117.7. But those numbers are deceiving as we check in with JT to get the real story from the head coach, Dennis Allen.
Coach, obviously a struggle protecting your quarterback in the first half. The positives of that last drive.
Well, I think it was great that we were able to come back and get a touchdown there in the 2-minute drive. But listen, we didn't play well in any of the 3 phases of the game. We got to play better in the second half.
Talk about the defensive pass rush. How do you have to change that in the second half?
Well, we got to be able to win our one-on-one matchups and get after the quarterback. We got to find somebody that's going to be able to rush the quarterback.
Thank you, Coach. Back to you, Greg.
And the quarterback we're going to see in the second half is Seneca Wallace, the longtime Seattle Seahawk and a Cleveland Brown, who is very adept at running away from pressure. Eddie Carmona is going to handle all of the kickoffs in the second half and the placements Janikowski has done for the night. This is Preston Parker from inside the end zone out across the 20, and he runs out nearly to the 30-yard line. Parker was their star last week in their win over Kansas City when he caught 2 touchdown throws from Luke McCown. And now it is going to be Seneca Wallace who will take over at quarterback. You remember Seneca, coach, from the Seattle Seahawks. Yep. And this guy can run around, so their offense will be very different with Wallace in the game. You'll have to deal with the quarterback movement in the bootleg game now.
Not a very tall guy, 5'11", but he's very mobile, and he's fighting for that number 2 spot.
Here's Wallace, a short drop and a pump, and he's going to get chased down by David Bass and Jack Crawford. And it's Crawford that makes the big hit and the sack. Jack Crawford, the second-year defensive lineman, sacking the tough-to-run down Seneca Wallace.
Yeah, good job right there. Good, finally, got a good pass rush from the backside, from the blind side.
Anytime you flush your quarterback out like that, it's a good sign, because you make him run for his life, and if he does have to throw, he's going to throw it short, and he's going to be off balance.
Jack Crawford also made the tackle on the kickoff coverage, yep. And here he is making the sack on the first play. He needs to play well, Dennis Allen said, as they give it to Cadet off the left side, cuts back inside and dropped on the 25-yard line. Tackle made by Usama Young after a 4-yard pickup. Jack Crawford out of Penn State, a Raider 5th-round draft pick in 2012 by way of London, England. And the Raiders do have some depth once they get healthy on the D-line, so Crawford needs to push to make this 53-man roster. 3rd down and 14 for Seneca Wallace, who did go to Iowa State, but he grew up in the Sacramento area, went to Rancho Cordova High School. Wallace out of the shotgun. Here's a blitz by Gaither. Crawford going to come 3, and he throws the ball on the ground of the screen. So that's all Jack Crawford on the tackle on special teams to start the second half, and that's his defensive series.
Yeah,
he played
good
great.
job by Jack Crawford. There's no doubt about it. A busy man tonight with all the injuries that the Raiders have on the defensive line side, but good pressure. They read it once again. The second screen they've read very well tonight, although I think Sproles was able to get away on one occasion, but this time they stopped it cold.
Yeah, why is he coming off the field, though? Isn't he on the punt return team?
What, do you want him to return the punt as well?
Let him do it all.
Let's let Phillip Adams do that. Phillip Adams back to return this punt. He's going to call for a fair catch. What a blast. And he caught that ball with two hands out in front of him. Thomas Morstead, an all-pro punter, one of the great punters in pro football, hit a blast. Terrell Pryor at quarterback when we come back to Nolans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Al Davis's final selection in the supplemental round of the third round is Terrell Pryor, and he looked very good at times last week against the Dallas Cowboys. 6 of 10 passing for 88 yards for the critical red zone interception, but he also ran the pull option read well. 3 carries, 31 yards. The Raiders go into the pistol formation, and now they're going to put Pryor under center. Now he backs away in the pistol. He has a tight end to each side, and Jennings the back. They're going to roll him out right off the pistol action, and he hits the fullback, Jameis Alawale, and Alawale spinned out to the 27-yard line. So a lot going on in that formation. A tight end, a fullback to each side, a spin. There a flag down on that play or no?
No flag.
No flag.
But yeah, you're right. A lot of action going on in the backfield.
Well, there is a flag down across the field over on the Raiders sideline. Here's Jerome Bolden.
Offside. Defense, number 96, lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's on Tom Johnson, the right end, but a lot going on in that play plot.
Yeah, there certainly was. You know, it's easy to get fooled if you're a linebacker or a defensive back there trying to figure out what's going on. Run, pass, roll out, you name it. It's tough.
And the Raiders did take the offsides on Johnson, so they get first down over again. First down and 5. Raiders. Michael Rivera, the rookie tight end from Tennessee, moving in motion, inside handoff. No, Pryor keeps it on the option read. He gets wide on Bush, and he's spilled. Well, his play fake there was very good as he gave it to Jennings, then pull it back out. He ran that pull option read, Tom, expertly last week against the Dallas Cowboys 3 times through the screen game as well, very effectively a week ago.
Yeah, that time he kind of tripped up a little bit on his own, you know, after the fake. Otherwise, you'd have had a little bit more momentum going, and would have probably picked up the first down.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you saw the safety, Raphael Bush, coming hard on that option read. They know this quarterback will run it and keep it. 2nd and 2 Raiders on their 29. Inside handoff, Jennings off the left side, cuts back inside, and he's going to be tackled shy of the first down. It'll bring up a 3rd down and short. Tyron Walker, the right defensive end, number 75 on the tackle. And he has played very well for the Saints this preseason. He stuffed Jennings. This is a good work for Jennings here. It figures to possibly be a 3rd and 1, a short yardage goal line runner if you're going to take McFadden off the field, Tom, or Jim, at any point he'd be in these situations, so Jennings has to convert here.
Yeah, they liken him, at least Dennis Allen did a little bit to Michael Bush. That kind of situation type of guy.
Now they go into the pistol. Jennings behind Pryor. Alawale to his side, and a pre-snap penalty again is called here. Jerome Boger, our referee tonight.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's on Alex Parsons, the Raider new center, taking over for Stefan Wisniewski. Well, the Raiders played so tight last week against Dallas, Tom. Only 4 penalties for 35 yards. They have not been nearly as tight in any category tonight.
No, they haven't. They haven't been as smooth operating, but they're playing a little better team today. And, you know, fell behind right away, and that's not a good sign.
3rd down and 6 for the Raiders now. Pryor audibilizing. Going to move Rivera in tight to block. The play clock is at 5, 4, 3. He's got to hurry up here. 2, 1. Here's a blitz. He does get the play off. He's going to run out right. He may just run for the first down. He will. First down Raiders. Pure athleticism by Terrell Pryor. With chaos all around to merely get the ball snapped in time, he just runs away from the blitz.
Yeah, he certainly did. It was a bad snap. He had to handle that first. He saw the blitz coming, got outside of it, and turned it up the field for the first down.
They sent a corner blitz that time. Corey White came. Yeah. He was trying to get the right protection in, but you know what? With this young guy, let him come.
Yeah, well, Corey Wright came, and I'm trying to think who the fullback was, but Olawale got a little piece of him, and before you know it, Terrell is outside and and running for the first down.
Boy, not many teams, I think, will blitz Terrell Pryor. Do you really want to go try to get this guy on the ground? Inside handoff to Jennings, and he got stuck. Raider offensive line with little push that time at all. Kevin Reddick, a rookie free agent from North Carolina, inside linebacker, shot the gap and stuffed Jennings.
You know, last week Dennis Allen was very proud of the fact that they had no negative yards rushing the football last week against Dallas, but tonight, just like on that last play, they've had a few negative rushing plays tonight.
Now this Rob Ryan defense much more aggressive than Monty Kiffin's defense with the Cowboys, and it was Monty Kiffin who replaced Rob Ryan as the D coordinator in Dallas. Pull option read. Pryor keeps it running left, and the Saints are more prepared for the run game of this quarterback right now as Corey Lindsey, a young quarterback from Southern Illinois, made the tackle. What Rob Ryan was saying about this pull option read game, Tom, is that he's going to 46 defense it to death. He's going to do what his old man did, play that eagle bear front and just come with 5 and 6 guys and just blow it up.
Well, the only problem with that is you're going to leave some wide open spaces down the field. But that's Rob's personality anyway.
He will give up a cheap touchdown here and there because he blitzes so frenzied. Third down and long. Another blitz by the corner wide. Pryor hit as he throws, and it's high. Butler went up and pulled it down. Did he make the catch? No. Did not get both feet in bounds, but what an effort to climb up that sideline and go up and merely catch the ball.
Yeah, and it was a nice throw, too. I mean, the throw was under duress because they came with a blitz again, and somebody was right at Pryor's feet when he threw
Foster,
the ball.
D tackle. Did Butler catch this? That may be reviewable here.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he lost it on the ground?
He never had control.
One thing that's evident about Bryce Butler, and he'll go down now and try to run down the punt returner. He's going to play as a gunner here, and they're going to double him, as he is a hands catcher. He catches the ball with his hands, not his body. There's the punt by Chris Kluwe. And the return here outside the 20, cutting back inside. This is Steve Breston, the former Arizona Cardinal and Kansas City Chiefs slot receiver. They're going to use on punt return. So a good punt there by Chris Kluwe of 57 yards. Pryor got him moving a little bit, but not enough. 23-7, the Raiders down in New Orleans early third quarter on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
Back on the Raiders Broadcasting Network, the Raiders trailed the Saints by a score of 23-7. This year, the Oakland Raiders allowed their valued season ticket holders exclusive access to watch training camp in Napa, California. All season ticket holders who met ticket renewal deadlines were eligible. Just one of the many perks of being a Raiders season ticket holder. Call 1-800-RAIDERS during the live broadcast. Representatives are back at the affiliate at 1-800-RAIDERS and get your tickets today. Greg?
Yes, JT, and it was great energy inside the Napa training facility when the season ticket holders were there in that couple of weekends here. There's a throw and a catch. Seneca Wallace to Parker on the sideline, covered by Chimdi Chekwa. And he's got a first down, Parker does, out to the 28-yard line.
You know, Seneca Wallace has been in the league for 10 years. You know, he's a reliable backup quarterback in this league. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He runs the ball well. You know, he's a big asset for somebody who might go down during the course of the season.
And they need a new backup quarterback. Chase Daniel, who was Drew Brees' backup the last couple of years, has left, and he's now a Kansas City Chief. He is backing up the Chiefs' new quarterback, Alex Smith. So the battle right now to be Brees' backup between Wallace and Luke McCown. And here's a handoff to Cadet, and he gets stuffed in the backfield. The Raider defense, the second line defense, led by safety Brandon Ross there, comes up with a nice play.
Yeah, I think Brandon was coming on a blitz, so he did that. He read it real quickly, but he was in the backfield.
Brandon Ross was a Raider a year ago, Plunk. They used him all over the field at corner and safety, and they're playing him mainly at safety now with Reggie Smith. But the Raiders secondary is so much better, not just with Porter, Jenkins, and Hayden, and Woodson, obviously, but the depth now. Usama Young's a good player. Brandon Ross a good player. Reggie Smith a good player. Chimdi Chekwa. Phillip Adams. The Raiders may actually cut secondary players that other teams pick up this year. Wallace throws, catch by Cadet, and there's the tackle by Usama Young. Nicely done by Young, who's a very good tackler, and also, like Tracy Porter, a former New Orleans Saint.
Yeah, I think last year one of the very weak spots of this Raider defense a year ago was the secondary. It was tough. They had their hands full, and they had a lot of trouble stopping very good passing teams.
Usama Young was a third-round draft pick of the Saints in 2007. 4 years there as a backup, then went to Cleveland for a couple of years where he was a starter. Of course, the Raiders had so many injuries in the secondary last year, losing Ron Bartell and Shante Spencer, the two corners, almost immediately. 3rd and 14. There's Wallace, a play action. Throws over the middle. It's caught by Parker. First down, Saints on their 42-yard line, tackled by Omar Gaither.
Once again, it's a story of not getting to the quarterback, not putting pressure on him. He's able to look down the field, find the open receiver, and deliver the ball.
Preston Parker finding a soft spot there against the coverage of Omar Gaither, the middle linebacker, in a zone. And Phillip Adams came over. We're talking about Brandon Ross earlier, can play safety and corner. He's now playing slot corner for the Raiders. And now he's back playing safety in this set of the nickel. In the second team defense, he's playing slot corner. Cadet off the right side will pick up a couple out across the 45 up to around the 46-yard line. There's Travaris Cadet, young back out of Appalachian State. 23-7 New Orleans leading here with 5:55 to play in the third quarter. Our broadcaster Raider football brought to you by Elmer's Glue. Try new Pro-Bond Advanced Elmer's, strong, versatile, weatherproof, and it doesn't foam when it cures, so you can get all the hold with none of the mess. New Pro-Bond Advanced from Elmer's. Cadet on the draw. Fumbled the ball forward, and the Raiders do recover it, though. The Raiders take the football on their own 43-yard line, and the fumble by Cadet. It's that man again. Jack Crawford comes away with it. What a third quarter he's having.
It certainly is, but good play, good tackle, hit the helmet right on the football, pops out, Raiders recover. They need a break like that to get back in this ball game.
Jack Crawford opened up the second half with a tackle on kickoff coverage, and he's been the star of the second team defense here on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
We welcome you back. Third quarter underway, 23-7. The New Orleans Saints with the lead over the Oakland Raiders, and we're joined in the booth, John Stinscomb and myself, by the heir apparent to the one and only Jerry Romig. It needed to stay in the Romig family. Mark, it's good to have you with us.
Great to be with y'all.
What's this been like for your dad tonight?
It's for the whole family. It's been quite an evening because the Saints have treated Dad so well through this transition, and we're all together, and it's really great. Really great.
Procedure. So the Raiders will back up yet again. Mark, I've talked about this often. One of the reasons I love coming back here to do Saints preseason games is because of guys like your dad that had such influence on me when I moved here as a young broadcaster. And he absolutely just loves life and loves everything about New Orleans.
He is the epitome of being a Saints fan, and he takes that attitude to the game every week. And it's been great to learn from him.
When through those years, as you see the handoff going to Alawale, he's out to about the 45-yard line. Through those years, there were some lean seasons, and one of the things I love, John, about Jerry Romig was that he stayed positive somehow. The game could be getting way away from the 1-15 Saints in 1980, but he said first down Saints.
That's right.
How did he manage to stay
the
positive?
Eternal optimist, and plus, if you know my mother, I think you do.
Yes,
she was also the eternal optimist, and we knew that one day would be where we are today. So it's been great.
Second down and 7 here. Let's see what Pryor can come up with. Again, great pressure by the Saints up front. That's Clint Foster, number 74, making the stop. Jerry Romig is such an essential part of what the Saints have always been. For you, how awesome is this that you're taking over?
Well, we Jay and I were with Dad in 1970 when Tom Dempsey kicked the field goal at Tulane Stadium underneath the overhang there, and to know that now 40 some odd years later that Jay is where he is with the New Orleans Saints, and I get to help carry on Dad's legacy. It's awesome. It really is, and we're just blessed as a family to be able to be part of it.
Let's see what happens on 3rd and 14 here for Pryor. More pressure coming, and he just gets rid of it.
Mark, obviously with your dad, one of the taglines everybody associates with the Saints is First down, Saints. Is that something that we can expect?
Yeah,
you to carry
I've
on?
got to channel that. You know, it's like first down, Saints.
Yeah.
And Mom is telling me already, look, you know, you got to sound just like your father. And Dad's saying, Mark, you know, you got to do your own thing.
Yeah.
And so it's somewhere between the two. But I know I got to be brief, whatever I do, so that the fans can enjoy themselves.
From someone that's in the state of Louisiana but does pronounce his R's because I'm from Shreveport, as a Yankee, as they would say.
You're north.
I will tell you, you've got enough New Orleans in you to remind people of Jerry Romig. Okay?
That's all right.
Steve Breston is back deep, and this one is going to go through the end zone. Mark has done so much for the New Orleans community in the sports community, the foundation, essential part of helping to bring the Super Bowl here. He's got a wonderful future in the booth taking over for his dad. Many thanks. Back with more. Stay right where you are. 23-7, New Orleans with the lead by 16 over the Oakland Raiders. Saints fans, every time you use your Saints Visa debit card, you're entered in the Fanplastic sweepstakes. Learn more at whitneybank.com/fanplastic. Seneca Wallace remains in at quarterback for New Orleans. Cadet dots the I with Tanner in motion. And Tavares Cadet gets it to the 23, and another flag comes down at his feet.
Calling it close to the vest today, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Holding. Offense, number 35. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
That'll go against Austin Johnson, the free agent from Tennessee. Has been pushing some at that fullback position, Jed Collins.
It's good competition out there. There's a lot of positions with guys battling. Austin Johnson's a guy that's game one made his presence known, had some good blocks. I'm sure he'll have more opportunities tonight.
You mentioned Teron Armstead a moment ago at that left tackle spot. Another one of the young guys that has a chance to make this 53-man roster. Wallace under pressure, and he loses it. Picked up, and a touchdown for the Raiders. Ryan Robinson picks it up for the quick six. It was 51. David Bass that knocked the ball loose, jarring Wallace. He almost ran right into this. And it was Armstead that was beaten, by the way. Just as we mentioned him, he did get beat as well.
You can see the time clock in Seneca's head. He comes, he steps, couldn't find a receiver, and he was starting to feel that pocket close in on him. Started to flush out. David Bass forced the fumble. Ryan Robinson recovered it for the touchdown.
And the extra point by Eddie Carmona. It's good. 23-14. 23-14 after the turnover and touchdown at the goal line by Ryan Robinson off the hit from David Bass. The Saints and CST are back at it again on Thursday, August 27th, as the Saints travel down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Tune in at 6 p.m. Central right here on CST as the Saints Television Network for pregame coverage, followed by kickoff at 6:30. And don't forget about our live postgame with interviews, highlights from the Louisiana Cats studio at Sun Life Stadium. That's Thursday, August 29th, Saints traveling to Miami. Make sure you're with us. And back deep, Preston Parker brings it out. Flags fly as he hits the turf at the 20-yard line. Watching some of the other preseason games, we've seen a lot of flags.
During the return, holding, return team, number 59. 10-yard penalty. New Orleans keeps the ball. First down.
Special teams especially, too. I know it was a point of emphasis for Sean Payton all this week, but in truth, whether you're on a kick team or a punt team, a lot of times you're with guys that you've never been with before, right?
No question about it. It's not the chemistry. You don't really know how to work next to the guy you're next to. So sometimes you put yourself a little bit out of position, and you're trying not to be the guy to get beat, and all of a sudden you see that little yellow flag sitting next to you, and you know it's not as good as you wanted it to be.
Seneca Wallace from the 10. Incomplete, and another flag comes down. Maybe one of those why go there moves defensively, as Tim Toon was the receiver, Reggie Smith the free safety. But there'll be a flag right here.
Well, he throws it to Salim Hakeem right there, one of the fastest receivers, and looks like the defensive back probably hit a little high, helmet to helmet.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 36.
Yeah, no reason to go that high. It was
15-yard
Hakeem
penalty,
Salim.
automatic, first down.
Shot coming from Reggie Smith. That's something that they're really going to look at this year and try to keep players as safe as possible.
Salim is the deep threat. Salim Hakeem up at the top of your screen. Ball is tipped into the air, and is it picked off? It may well be. The Raiders have it. Wallace's pass tipped into the air. Omar Gaither comes down with it, number 52. But it was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
You can see the defensive line gets their hands up in the passing lanes. The ball goes high. Recovered by the Raiders. Not off to the start that Seneca Wallace, I'm sure, had envisioned for himself.
Ball at the 21-yard line, and the Raiders take over there. They review every turnover, but that should stand up. That was an outstanding play just to get to it. Full extension to come away with that tip ball.
Well, just great looks by the truck. I mean, they're finding every angle so we can do our jobs from the booth.
Pryor rolling right. And is going to be taken out of bounds. That's Corey White giving pursuit along with Glenn Foster.
Nice hustle by Foster, defensive end, matched up against Terrell Pryor in open space. It's everything you can do just to nick that heel. But that's what you expect from a young player like Foster. He's shown up a number of times when given the opportunity, and he should be laying it all out there.
Jeremy Stewart is the lone setback, number 32, and he'll take it. He runs right into the awaiting arms of John Jenkins, 92.
John Jenkins, a draft pick out of Georgia. Big space eater in the middle. Has good feet.
I think he's got a great future. I think he should be a 9 or 10 year guy without any problem whatsoever if he stays healthy.
Let's take a look, see what the big fella does in the middle.
3rd down and 6. It's caught inside the 10-yard line. Should be 1st and goal for the Raiders. Andre Holmes, number 18, on the receiving end.
Here's Big Jinx in the middle. He's more of a run pocket pusher you see in the pass game right there. His strength is really going to be in two-gap, playing that nose position against the run, and providing some pocket push in the pass game. That's Kenny Vaccaro, your rookie safety on the tackle. He's shown up a lot in the stat books with 5 tackles so far tonight.
1st and goal for the Raiders after the prior completion. Stewart, maybe a yard and then push back.
Much more in John Jenkins' wheelhouse right there. Run right at him, holding the point, two-gap in the center, and keeping those rushes in the interior down to short yards.
When you say two-gapper, I think a lot of times people at home, what that means is basically you're filling a spot and there are 2 gaps on either side of you, correct? That's when you say two-gap, that's what you mean.
That's right. A little different from the 4-3 alignment when you have 4 defensive linemen. They're usually responsible for just 1 gap.
Yeah.
Where they're lined up in. So these are all gaps between the center, the guards, the tackles.
And a loose ball. Pryor's in some trouble. Dumps it in the corner, and it almost was intercepted. Very nearly picked. And I think a mistimed jump was all that separated the Saints from a turnover. Rod Sweeting, 38, I think he got himself in the air a little too quickly.
Well, the snap gets past Pryor. He's scrambling, does a good job of getting away from Foster and putting the ball up in the air. The only problem is he puts it in play. And Rod Sweeting, a guy, an undrafted rookie free agent, has a chance to make a play. He's shown up and done a lot better this preseason, but missed an opportunity right there.
Trying to get the ball to Session, and he jumped too soon. Pryor with time, now is flushed from the pocket. This where he's really devastating. Flags down, but he's in the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, it looks like it's coming back. We'll wait and see what the call is.
Holding. Offense. Number 67. 10-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
Alex Parsons, the center, the backup center for the Raiders, is guilty.
If you watch John Jenkins right here in the middle, he starts to get away from the center. He grabs a whole little too much cloth and spins John Jenkins around. Pretty easy for the ref to see that one once you see the spin move from the defensive tackle. Sometimes they sell it. Sometimes the D-line will sell it. I don't think you need to sell it that hard right there.
Young fan in midseason form too. Third down and goal from the 17. Pressure coming from Jordan. Corey White, I beg your pardon. That's an incomplete pass. That was Corey White coming, the safety. Another pressure and a fourth down coming up.
Well, Saints bringing the heat. They're trying to set up the screen pass. That's 12 pressures for the New Orleans Saints defense tonight. They've been coming from a little bit of everywhere right there. Now there's another flag on the field.
Yeah, I think they're going to say intentional grounding to go with it.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 6. Foul the foul. Loss of down. Fourth down.
Which makes the field goal that much more difficult. Eddie Carmino coming in to attempt it, but it'll be, when you consider where the Raiders began this possession, now it's going to be an iffy field goal try for Dennis Allen's team.
You can see he's fired up. It was a screen pass that Pryor just threw at the feet of his running back, and it's always a hard pill to swallow when you lose yards, and it's going to impact your field goal chances.
I think the officials are just trying to determine the point of the scrimmage and then tacking on the yardage to go with it.
Plenty of discussion going into this one.
Our line judge tonight is Sarah Thomas, one of the women that are involved in the National Football League. There she is. She's gotten much national attention since she debuted. It's a spot of the foul. That's
foul
the situation.
For intentional grounding. It's 10 yards from the previous spot. Loss of down. Fourth down.
Yeah. I think that was what the determination. And clearly that's the rule. It just took them a while to find, I guess, where the spot of the foul was, where the ball was thrown to the turf. 46-yard try is what it's going to lead to. And it will be Eddie Carmona, not Sebastian Janikowski, who they know has enough leg. Marquette King will be the holder. They've also got a new situation with their long snapper this year. For a long time, John Condo's been the guy that I think they may be going in a different direction for that with the Raiders down the line. Lots of changes on organization in transition. And the boot is right down the middle. And suddenly, we've got a game. 23-17 after the lethargic Saints offering offensively, and the turnovers, one for a touchdown and another that leads to 3 points on the tipped pass that led to an interception for Seneca Wallace.
Well, that's how quickly the game can change, and turnovers is usually the key to that. And when you score off a turnover, it puts a feather in the cap of the defense and deflates the offense. Now it's about Seneca Wallace rebounding from those.
Certainly nothing to write home about, a -7 on your 6-play drive, but it does lead to a field goal that has made it a 6-point game. That's your Rouse's scoring drive. Let's take a look again at our Golden Flake Ask the Announcer question from at Magnolia Slim. How do you think the new 3-4 defense has looked in the preseason? You're the analyst. Tell me.
Well, in my opinion, you've seen a number of looks. 3-4 is just one of them. I think with the various personnel that has been down and not available, they're just trying to figure out who can play and where they can play them. Whether it's Jay Richardson moving from defensive end to outside linebacker and putting his hand in the ground and standing up. You've seen a variety of looks, and so far they've been very effective tonight.
Dustin Parker brings it out of the end zone. He's got some room down the sideline if he can make another cut, and a flag and another flag come down. Just about every kick we're seeing markers in tonight's game. 39-yard return, but it'll be coming back.
With another player down from the Raiders and another flag on the play. It's kind of the way this game has gone.
Yeah.
During the return, holding, return team, number 74, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Glenn Foster is guilty. Watch the left side of your screen here.
He's coming right at you. Parker tries to outrun the play to the outside of the block.
Yeah, holding the kicker.
I'm not sure how much blocking Glenn Foster, a defensive end, does. So.
And we got an injured kicker. That's Carmelo that's down. That backs the Saints up all the way to the 12-yard line to begin this series. Let's take a look at how this happened with Carmona, the kicker in this situation, forced to take his man out, and we've seen this happen. Morstead had it happen in New England a couple of years ago.
What a rough blow, huh?
Eddie Carmona.
That looked devastating.
I'll never forget when that happened up in New England. That was a little bit of a blow that the Saints had when he got hurt. When New Orleans was up 23-0 before the Raiders' first touchdown towards the end of the second quarter, memories of that 45-7 blowout win you guys had in 2009 at the old Oakland Alameda County was what they used to call it back in the day. Kind of dashed through my head. Did you guys think, I believe that was the first time that season when people were talking about how legit the Saints were for a run at the Super Bowl? Even in the preseason, it came up after that week. You remember that? You
start to get feels really early in the season when you have something special in the locker room.
Yeah.
And we felt it. Regrettably, we felt it at other times, and it didn't exactly pan out.
Yeah, that's true. But I remember a lot of the national media really picked up after that preseason game, saying, gosh, that team, and people were wondering the same thing then. Was it a case of the Saints that good or the Raiders that bad? And in truth, it was the Saints were that good. Most of America just didn't know it at that time.
Well, it highlighted what a complimentary game we were able to play, both offensively and defensively.
Cadet puts it on the ground again. It is recovered this time inside the 5-yard line. That's Lolito, 68,
of the third floor.
on top of it. That saved a third turnover for the Saints in this quarter that could have led to big-time points for the opposition. Your Rouse's score at the end of 3, the Saints 23, the Raiders 17.
backup defenders are taking this football game over. Greg Papa, Tom Flores, Jim Plunkett in the booth, and JT downstairs. Travaris Cadet just fumbled again, and he has now been pulled out of the game by Sean Payton. Too many fumbles by Cadet here, Coach.
Yeah, that's way too many. I mean, that's, 3 fumbles on his part?
Yeah, Kalen Burnett caused the fumble, and Lolita, the backup offensive lineman, recovered. So Cadet has been pulled now. Kyrie Robinson, a rookie free agent from West Texas A&M, is in to replace him. Seneca Wallace from the end zone lobs one down the right sideline off the fingertips of Steve Breston, and it was Taiwan Jones who was on the coverage there, Plunk.
Yeah, it was a ball that should have been caught, in my opinion. They hit him right, he had both hands on it, had to stretch forward, but it was a good throw. Could have been a good catch. It wasn't.
Your quarterbacks want everything caught.
Hey,
yeah,
you catch it, you catch it.
One. How about the coverage of Taiwan Jones, Tom?
Well, the coverage is pretty good, but the ball is thrown perfectly. I agree with Jim, but that would have been a very good catch. Hit him in the hand. Taiwan was running him. He got to have maybe a fraction of a step, enough for the ball to get to his hands.
Here's the inside handoff to Robinson out of the shotgun, and he runs for a Saint first down. He got tackled right at the sticks. At the 12, they're going to punt. That's the original line of scrimmage. They'll punt the ball away. As on the fumble by Cadet, they were back. That was a 3rd and long, so the fumble there hurts them. But Steve Breston on that drop. Breston was a very good slot wide receiver in Arizona for years with Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden.
Yeah.
And he's kind of lost his way after a couple of years in Kansas City. Greg Jenkins back to return this punt. Jenkins had a 50-yard kickoff return last week against the Cowboys. Thomas Morstead, one of the best punters in pro football, will push this one deep into the sideline. Jenkins the catch, 30, cuts inside, looking for a block from Connor Vernon. The flag comes down, and so does Jenkins on the 41-42-yard line. Just about every special teams play tonight, we have had yellow on the field.
Yeah, a lot of flags flying tonight. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, just
7-yard punt by Morstead. Tom.
Completely opposite of last week. Last week there were very few flags on the field. This week there's been a bunch of them.
Jerome Boger will get the Raider that blocked in the back on the return here.
Personal foul. Tackle by
it's
the
on New
face
Orleans.
mask.
No, the
Return
Raiders.
team, number 18. Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't see that very often.
Personal foul, taken by the face mask. Kicking team, number 18.
There you go.
There you go. Now you
15-yard
got it right.
penalty at the end of play. First down.
That's on Salim Hakim, whose older brother, you may remember, Zahir Hakim. JT remembers him. JT.
Thank you, Greg. Everyone in the Raider Nation is talking about the Raider app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go to iTunes. For Raider fans, the schedule, merchandise, news, it's absolutely outstanding. It's new, and Raider fans now, with your mobile device, download the Raider app. It'll change your life in the Raider Nation. All members of the Raider Nation, Greg, have the Raider app. Now you got to get Coach Flores to download it.
It's already changed his life, and it's changed mine. I was on all day today downloading information about Matt McGloin. He's now the new Raider quarterback. He throws middle, and a catch made there by Andre Holmes, who got low-bridged but held out of the ball. And here is Matt McGloin, who Coach Allen was raving about this morning in our meeting, guys. He played very well, 4 of 7 for 78 yards. The touchdown pass to Bryce Butler against the Cowboys, Jim. His quarterback rating last week, 135.7, and more importantly, he got the Raiders 10 points in 3 drives.
Yeah, he did, and he was very high on him. He felt he had the strongest arm of the quarterbacks down there throwing the football, and he's just kind of a player. Guy gets things done.
First and 10 Raiders on the Saint 33. Hand off to Jeremy Stewart off the left side. This guy McGloin played as a walk-on at Happy Valley, Penn State, for Bill O'Brien. And Coach Allen keeps using phrases like he doesn't get rattled, it's not too big for him. And it's quite obvious, Tom, that they like this guy. And right now the plan is for him to play the rest of the football game tonight, and Tyler Wilson will not play at all tonight is the plan.
I'm surprised that Terrell didn't play a little bit more. I thought he'd play into the fourth quarter, but I guess they felt he had showed enough.
Second down and 10 Raiders, early fourth quarter. McGloin throws out right a little high for Nick Casa, the rookie tight end, and that lands incomplete. Matt McGloin taking over for Terrell Pryor, who was merely 1 for 5 tonight. Only 9 yards He ran 4 times for 15 yards. The Saints were all over that read option tonight, almost like they game planned and practiced against the read option tonight.
Yeah, it looks like they might have,
I think they did. They were very prepared for it. And that was a play that really hurt them at times last year against the Carolina Panthers playing in their NFC South. They had a horrible defense a year ago. Everything hurt them. McGloin, 3rd and 9, throws. Almost intercepted there by the corner White. As McGloin that time made a rookie mistake, Tom. He threw into double coverage.
Yeah, he threw into a lot of white shirts there. One in front and one in back. That's not a good time to throw. He tried to stuff that ball in there. I think he predetermined where he was going to go. Looked like he was looking that way the whole time.
Trying to go to Jenkins, and Corey White was doubled. Janikowski going to come in and kick this field goal from 50 because Carmona got hurt on the kickoff. Kondo will snap, Kluwe will hold, Janikowski kicks it away, and here in the Dome he can make one from 70. That is right down the middle, easy from 50 yards out. So Janikowski, the plan was for not to kick in the second half, but Eddie Carmona is hurt. Hey, we have a game. Raiders down 23-20 with 12.5 to play in New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Raider offensive coordinator Matt McGloin, or Greg Olson, talking to the Raider quarterbacks. Terrell Pryor eavesdropping. That's Matt McGloin, who has not made those kind of rookie mistakes, Tom, whether it's in camp or the OTAs or in the games, but he just did a moment ago. He threw into double coverage.
Yeah, this is a different style of defense too. Rob Ryan is always a little, even though a lot of teams play the 3-4, he's a little unorthodox in a lot of the stuff he does, with its coverages especially.
Now, some would say unsound. he blitzes crazily, and they give up. This New Orleans offense is so good. They're going to score 30 a game. And it's just disheartening when the defense gives up an easy score because they blew a coverage and a blitz. Nice kickoff there by Janikowski. They have had 3 different defensive coordinators in 3 years. Greg Williams, of course, lost his job in the bounty scandal. They went to Steve Spagnuolo a year ago. That was a disaster. And then to Rob Ryan this year. Ryan Griffin's going to take over for Seneca Wallace here. Young quarterback from Tulane who played his home games with Tulane University right here in the New Orleans area, right here in the Superdome. The hold on the club the remaining of the game. 23-20, Raiders down. Griffin going to throw and a screen. Out to Robinson, a block, breaks a tackle, first down. He lowered the boom there to run over Brandon Ross. That is a young back out of West Texas A&M. Kyrie Robinson on the screen. Sean Payton loves the screen game time.
Yeah, he runs it all different kinds of ways. That was very well-timed screen, too, off a play action.
And it gives your quarterback, an inexperienced quarterback, a little confidence in just dumping the ball off, a short pass, safe, easy.
And if you look at the finish of that play, he was close to an offensive foul, lowering his head, under the new rule.
There's the run to Robinson going wide right, and he dives out across the 35 up to around the 37-yard line. There's some new rules around the NFL this year. Of course, they have eliminated the tuck rule, I think about 10 years too late or so. Also, the key one, offensive players cannot lead with the crown of their helmet outside of the tackle box, and I think that's exactly what Robinson did. He dropped his head there outside of the tackle box. That should have been a flag, right?
That should have been a flag. The way I saw it, I'm not sure how they're going to interpret that. That's going to be a tough one to interpret.
It's a new one. There's Robinson now, as they lower the boom on him. Omar Gaither, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle on Robinson. Chimdi Chekwa also over there in the run game, the corner. Raiders, we're down 23-0, now down 23-20.
Yeah, they made a game of it.
So the football game is in balance, and certainly the Raiders want to win this game. They won last week against the Cowboys 19-17. It was the Marquette King, big towering punt that forced the muff that got the Raiders a win last week. 3rd and 6, empty set for Ryan Griffin. 3 left, 2 right. Griffin back, time, check down, catch. Robinson, first down, cuts inside on Gaither. Breaks a tackle to Reggie Smith. He's still up and finally dropped in Raider territory on the Raider 48-yard line. So Kyrie Robinson far out performing Travaris Cadet tonight. He looked good here. Tough guy to tackle. He gained 15 yards here. Slips Gaither, slips Reggie Smith. got into Raider territory.
And that's kind of past the read option by the receiver, going out there, taking the linebacker inside and beating him back to the outside. A very found play of Sean Payton.
1st and 10 Saints, right in the middle of the floor to Lee at midfield. There's Griffin throwing a bomb and covered there by Taiwan Jones. He went to Hakeem, Salim Hakeem, and a flag does come down late. I don't think it was on. It's going to be a PI on Taiwan Jones, but it was thrown by the official, Tom, in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's unusual that he would throw it on him.
Pass interference. Defense number 22. Grabbing the arm of the receiver.
Thought he got away with it. The flag came in late, and it came from the middle of the field.
Well, it came from the middle of the field, and usually that's the end man. I'm not sure why he threw it.
I think he holds his arm down right there.
Well, I see the flag. I mean, I see the penalty, but I'm not sure the guy that called it is the right guy that should be calling it.
1st down from the 10-yard line. Robinson breaks, now spun around, and finally gets dropped right at the line of scrimmage there. Ryan Baker was in on that play for the Raiders. Backup defensive lineman. They've had so many injuries on the defensive line in camp that they've had to sign guys right off the street. And Ryan Baker's played before 4 years in the Miami Dolphins, but he was signed after the Raiders went to training camp. We have not seen Pat Sims practice for just about an hour, is all he has practiced in training camp with a hamstring injury, and he's a great run defender. You got to get him up. There's Preston right sideline with a catch driven out of bounds by Taiwan Jones. Pat Sims, a tremendous run stuffer. He's a guy, he'll play the nose, Tom. He's tough to move.
Yeah.
And you put him next to Vance Walker, who's a 3 technique, a penetrator. That's your combination right there. We've not seen him.
Do we have a progress report on him?
They're hopeful to play next week against the Bears. 3rd down and 6. Is it 3rd and goal? It is 3rd and goal from the 6, so they cannot get a 1st down. They run Robinson off the right side, and he goes all the way down to the goal line. Looked like the Raiders were going to tackle him, and I'm on the 5 or 6, Ryan Robinson, and somehow he scored it down to the goal line. He is short of the end zone, but that'll give him a chance to go for it on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Raiders almost grabbed a face mask as well.
Sean might decide to go for it instead of the kicking the field goal.
I think he will now that it's 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Now Robinson got more of the shoulder pad than the face mask there. Timeout call.
New Orleans, they're first.
Saints will call a timeout as Sean Payton is going to go for it. He wants the right call in on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Saints 23, Raiders 20 with 8:08 to play in the game from New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Oakland Raiders football brought to you in part by the Home Depot. You can get a lot more bathroom for your buck there with stylish bath products at guaranteed at low prices. You can finally retile that floor, revamp that vanity, or rethink that shower. Visit homedepot.com/bath for more details. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Let's see if Sean Payton runs some power at the Raiders here. They have a 4th down and goal from right on the 1-yard line. 8:08 to play. The Saints are up 3, so a touchdown here would put them up 2 scores. Tanner goes in motion, followed by Taiwan Jones. The give is to Robinson, and the Raiders stuff him. The Raiders with a goal line stand keep him out of the end zone and keep it a 3-point game.
Nice penetration there. I'm not sure who the penetration was from, but it was excellent penetration.
And the Raiders get off the field, Tom. Let's take a look at the defensive line getting a little surge there and coming up with a play.
Yes, indeed. The whole left side of the line, they just drove. They drove the offensive line in the backfield. That's what
Gaither and Ryan Robinson that made the play and kept him out. So the Raiders up against their own goal line, but it's still a 3-point game with 8 minutes to go on the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
Back in New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network, the Raiders down by 3. You got to credit this second-team defense. Coming out of the tunnel at halftime, the Raiders struggled in the first half. The energy. Greg, there are guys down here competing for jobs. They're playing hard to impress the coaching staff. They're back in the game. Back to you.
And now Matt McGloin will begin this series right up against the shadow of the goal line after the goal line stand. Got to get out here and avoid a safety. They run Stewart straight ahead, did not get much. Rufus Johnson and Tony Bergstrom are going at it. Tony Bergstrom is still playing here, Tom, late in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's played almost the whole game.
Yeah, Stewart did dive out. Yeah, Bergstrom did not start tonight at left guard. Lucas Nix did. Nix did not play all that long as he's coming back from a scapula bruise. So is Bergstrom playing right tackle? What do they have Bergstrom?
I believe so, yeah. That's number 70 out there.
Here's the inside handoff. Alawale, did he get out of the end zone?
No.
That could be a safety. They ran the fullback dive, and Alawale got stuffed in the end zone for a New Orleans safety. 2-point Saints.
Wow.
That's why you run that play, so you don't have a negative rush, and he could not get out of the end zone.
That was about as quick hitting as you can be. But they didn't block. The left guard did not come off and block that linebacker.
And also Willie Smith got pushed back by Rufus Johnson. And that's what happened. Willie Smith just got pushed back, and Alawale got walled off by his own guy back into the end zone for a safety. 25-20 Saints on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. Jameis Alawale stuffed in the end zone for a two-pointer, a safety by Will Herring, the former Seahawk. The Raiders will free kick it here. Marquette King, I would have loved to have seen him free kick one, but they are going to let Chris Cluey, the veteran, free kick it away from the 20-yard line. Raiders now down 25-20, so if you're worried about overtime at a preseason game, that's not going to happen now. There's Parker back on the 15, 20, 25, straight ahead, 30. Runs into his own guy, comes off 40. Dropped on the 41-yard line. And a flag is down on the return.
Holding. Receiving team, number 11. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. First down, New Orleans.
They had dual return man, Parker along with Jared Faison, a wide receiver, and it was Faison who held there. Well, neither coach is going to be happy with the overall sloppy nature of this football game. The Saints played the Chiefs last Friday here at home, Tom, and that was a real sloppy game. And the Raiders played a clean one against the Cowboys, but both teams have been sloppy.
Yeah, tonight was very, very sloppy on the Raiders' part. I thought, and Coach Allen was just looking for a continuation of what they were doing last week, and they kind of went backwards a little way today.
Plus the injuries, I think, are the real concern. There's Griffin handing off to Robinson off the left side. Breaks a tackle and is still up, and now finally dropped on the 30-yard line. Well, the competition for the fourth running back spot behind Pierre Thomas, Mark Ingram, and Darren Sproles. Robinson Plunk is badly outplaying Cadet tonight.
Oh, seriously, he really is. He's breaking tackles, he's running hard, keeping his head down, picking up tough yardage, spins away from a lot of would-be tacklers. He's looked very impressive tonight.
Omar Gaither finally got him down. Eddie Carmona, we are told, has a neck injury. There's Ryan Griffin rolling right, finding Patrick Creighton, the former Dallas Cowboy, into Raider territory. Finally pulled down by Omar Gaither, who has got to be gassed. He's played a lot of football tonight. They signed Patrick Creighton the other day, the former Cowboy, as they've had injuries in their wide receiving coach. Joe Morgan, their big vertical threat, is out the air with a torn ACL, and Creighton goes 31 yards on this catch and run.
Yeah, it was a couple of missed tackles there at the line, about 5 yards down the field, and gave him all that running room.
Creighton was in San Diego the last couple of years, but 6 years in Dallas before that, where he spent time with Sean Payton. Throw out right. This is the fullback, Austin Johnson, avoiding a hit and down the sideline of the 32-yard line. So Carmona, a neck injury. Well, the one I'm worried about is Tracy Porter with the groin injury. The Raiders also lost David Osbury in the first half to a shoulder injury, and those guys never came back. But the Porter groin, Tom, looked like a bad groin injury.
Yeah, that was kind of a freak thing, because when it happened, it looked like his legs were up in the air, and they must have just snapped when he hit the ground. I thought it was something else. I thought it was his shoulder.
He did it making a tackle, and also Tyvon Branch came over to the sideline and hit him as well. Robinson off the right side, the outside zone run, and he's tackled there by the defensive end, Robinson. That is Ryan Robinson tackling Kyrie Robinson with 5:10 to play. And the Saints up 25-20. Raiders' second team defense has not allowed any points. The only 2 points the Saints have in this half came because of the Raider offense at a safety. And the Raider defense had a goal line stand to keep him out of the end zone. Ryan Griffin, the Tulane quarterback. Outside run, Robinson gets the edge easy. Creighton the block on Brandon Ross. That's Patrick Creighton, the wide receiver. Quite a block there on Brandon Ross, the safety / corner, and that gave Robinson the easy edge for a nice gain of 18 yards.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anybody out on the edge at all.
Reggie Smith, the safety, was late coming over, and Brandon Ross got blocked. 4.5 to play in this game. This is the first time ever the Raiders have come to New Orleans to play a preseason game. You guys came here to play a postseason game, something called the Super Bowl, but never a preseason game. Robinson off the right side. He looks good. Hurdles the pack and dives down to the Raider 12-yard line. This guy ran for over 2,200 yards his 2 years at West Texas A&M and scored 26 touchdowns. He also caught 60 passes. And if you want to play running back for the Saints, Tom, and Sean Payton, you got to catch the football because he likes to throw it to his backs.
He does. Sproles had 75 catches a year ago. Pierre Thomas and Mark Ingram also had a lot of touches through the air. Yeah, they spread the ball around.
You're going to catch a lot. You're going to catch them, and then you're also going to catch a lot of screens.
Yep.
Right. That's where a lot of those passes, those catches come for those backs off the play action.
Sproles 75 catches last year, 86 the year before that, and before that they had Reggie Bush here, who was a tremendous pass catcher out of the backfield. 3:50 to play in the game. 2nd and 8, Saints on the Raider 13. Here's a bootleg. Griffin rolling left after the play action, rolling and looking, and now he'll dive down. Nowhere to go. So he's tackled at around the 10-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down. Jason Tarver, the Raider young defensive coordinator, hoping to get his guys back next Friday against the Chicago Bears. Join us at the O.co Coliseum next Friday night. Raiders playing Mark Trestman and that new look Bear offense. Trestman, the former Raider offensive coordinator, now a head coach after a good run in the CFL with the Montreal Alouettes. Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte. That'll be a challenge next week. There's Griffin back on 3rd down. Screen. How did that ball get caught? There was Raiders everywhere. And it didn't. It hit the ground. Yeah, well, it didn't. As they went to Cadet came back into the game there. Robinson got tired. Yeah. And they brought Travaris Cadet back in.
He was pretty winded. That ball is played very well by the defensive line. Raider defensive line. Maybe they're a little too tired to rush a passer, but they were there for the screen.
The Saints do not have any extra kickers or punters, so Hartley and Morstead handle them all. So here's Garrett Hartley. Well, he's a hero on this time with that onside kick to begin the second half of Super Bowl 44 against Indy. That turned the whole game around. Hartley makes the easy chippy. Well, you know what? Overtime now still is a problem.
It's a possibility.
He made the field goal to make it 28-20. The Raiders are a touchdown to the 2-point conversion away from tying the game.
Here we go.
That would be a good problem to have. With 2:53 to play in the game. So it's going to be a long night for the Raiders. They're going to fly home right after the game and get back to Oakland in the wee hours around 3:34 in the morning.
Yeah, poor Pluckett has a tee-off time at 7.
Boy, it's tough being a Heisman Trophy winner, 2-time Super Bowl winner, MVP, isn't it?
Hey, you do what you got to do.
Why are you waiting till 7? Just tee off when we land.
I would like to, but it's...
Well, the good news is when the Raiders fly home and get back to work Sunday in Napa, DJ Hayden, the #1 draft pick, number 12 overall of the University of Houston, will wear a black jersey. He will not have to wear the red anymore. The red is the no contact jersey. He had abdominal surgery, scar tissue in May, a product of the horrific injury he had last year at the University of Houston. Have you guys seen him much? His feet, Tom. He has tremendous cornerback movement skills.
Yeah, I watched a couple of days of practice, and He has all the natural and quickness and the closure, and he had the whole deal. And he had the red jersey on, but he did everything but contact then.
The back pedal, the break on the ball. He has the smoothest back pedal, great change of direction. He is a tremendous young player. Here's the kickoff return from the goal line, 10, 15, 20, and the return made by Greg Jenkins, the converted quarterback in college to wide receiver in the pros. So we have to find out about this injury to Tracy Porter. It's a groin injury, but the plan was to have a trio of Porter, Jenkins, and Hayden, and have Porter have the ability to jump in the slot. And hopefully the Raiders did not lose Tracy Porter, Tom, which was going to be one of their base corners in a slot.
Yeah.
When they go nickel, he jump inside.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it was such an awkward thing. He was in an awkward position when he got hit. His legs were up in the air, out of control. And I think that's when he snapped his groin. And it depends on if he pulled it or snapped it.
McGloin throws middle to Greg Jenkins, and he's dropped on the 25 plunk, bringing up a second down at about 4.
Yeah, it was a good quick read by McGloin, I should say. We're talking about.
You're worried about the groin injury.
Yeah, apparently. But he's hustling, trying to get the offense going with a little over 2 minutes to go in the game.
2:22 to play. McGloin back, throws middle, dart, catch, again to Jenkins. First down, Raiders out to around the 36-yard line. One more play before the 2-minute warning. They're trying to get it off. 2:10, 2:09, they got time. Jenkins wide right, slot left, Vernon inside of Isaiah Williams. McGloin gets it off, a running play. Deontay Williams and a Cal Poly. Well, McGloin ran that 2-minute drill, hustled up, got the play off, and looked pretty good.
This is the 2-minute warning.
1:57 to play in the game. Raiders are down a touchdown of the 2-point conversion, 28-20 in New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. All right, there are the guys that have combined for the big play of the game. David Bass with the strip sack and Ryan Robinson with the scoop and the score. It's our play of the game brought to you by your local Nissan dealers. Bass gets Seneca Wallace from behind, and Robinson's got the ball laying on the goal line. That's a D lineman's dream. Touchdown Raiders. And those guys can both heat up the quarterback. They're undersized. They both go about 255. They're going to get some deficiencies in the run game, but it may be worth keeping one of them or both of them just to get after the quarterback. 2nd and 6, Raiders on their 40. McGloin throws right high, but pulled down by Connor Vernon, and then tackled immediately by the corner, Corey White. Raiders down 8. It is 3rd down and short. 3rd and 1 on the New Orleans 45. They give it to Deontay Williams off the right side. First down Raiders. Out to around the 46, 47, timeout Raiders.
Yeah, there was a rookie mistake right there by McGloin. His guys weren't set. He's got to know they're not set.
Illegal shift.
Yeah.
Offense. 2 men moving and not getting set. Number 85. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Yeah, he wanted to get going. But you got to make sure they're set, and that's the quarterback's responsibility.
So they don't convert it. It's 3rd and 1 becomes 3rd and 6, Plunk, and this is a big play here to extend this 2-minute drill.
Well, they're going to go, they're going to go 4 downs with this, so got a chance to pick up that first down.
1:37 to play. Slot right, Vernon inside of Isaiah Williams. A flag comes in. Yeah. False start on the Raiders pre-snap, and now it's 3rd down and 11.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That is a son of a coach. That is Terry Robisky's kid, Andrew Robisky, with the false start. He had a penalty last week against the Cowboys. Well, that is tough. It was 3rd and 1. Now it's 3rd down at 11.
Oh, and they actually converted that first down, actually.
Yeah, they did before the penalty was assessed. The 2 guys moving simultaneously. Pressure now. McGloin's going down. He fumbles the ball. Either way, it's going to be 4th down and long, or the game's going to be over. New Orleans recovered a fumble. Which is it, Jerome Boger? McGloin got hit. He fumbled the ball. I think the Raiders keep the ball, though, right?
Yeah, they keep it, yeah.
And you go forward on 4th down. They are going to go for it. Let's take a look as McGloin got hit and lost the ball. But apparently the Raiders recovered that mess.
Because it looks like he did lose the ball early.
Yeah, he fumbled the ball.
Right there. It's already gone.
It's that young lineman Glenn Foster again. Well, he looks like a player, the rookie free agent from Illinois. How many times the Raiders have their quarterback sacked tonight? 8, 7 or 8?
Yeah,
7.
way too many.
Matt Flynn 5 times, Pryor once, and now McGloin once. Well, who recovered the ball? There was a fumble.
Well, I think they knocked it all the way back to McGloin. Looked like it.
Yeah, here's Jerome Bogert.
The ruling on the field is that the quarterback was down by contact prior to the ball coming out.
That's not...
4th down.
I don't think so.
Well, they got to review that.
It's under 2 minutes, so they would review it if anybody cares, but that's not the way we saw it.
The ball's out
right?
already. It's already gone.
He's out.
Yeah, that's.
Well, his forward progress was stopped.
Would they rule that he was already sacked, Plug?
No, I think the replay officials already are. They headed for the airport.
They're already on Bourbon Street. Oh, interception over the middle. McGloin throws it away. That is Jim Leonard. Well, how far has he fallen playing here with 2 minutes to go in the second week of the preseason? The former Buffalo Bill, Baltimore Raven, New York Jet, a Steeler a year ago. He's a good player with the Rex Ryan's teams for years, but he's still out there. So McGloin throws the interception, and the game is now over. New Orleans will win here.
Yeah, he had somebody right in his face that time, and still, it was an ill-advised throw. There were too many white shirts there. There was no chance for that to be completed.
Yeah, tough situation. Penalty after penalty, fumble or not.
So Ryan Griffin will take the victory snap here, the victory play, and kneel down, and one more, and the game will be over, and the fans will head out of the Louisiana Superdome onto the streets of New Orleans, maybe drop by the French Quarter on Bourbon Street. Or the street. A reminder, cops all across the country are cracking down on drunk driving. And there's one thing you can be sure of, they'll see you before you see them. So drive sober or get pulled over. So the final score will be more palatable than the actual game was, guys. The Raiders were down 23-0 late in the first half as the Saints won. Drew Brees and that bunch, they were really good tonight.
They were. They're an offensive machine with Drew Brees at the helm.
Well, Dennis Allen, for the first time ever, coaches against his mentor, Sean Payton. They are very close friends. Combined to win a Super Bowl in '09. And they have heading in different directions now after this preseason game. Matt Flynn back to the state of Louisiana.
This is the end of the game.
Former LSU national championship with the Tigers. There's Joe Vitt saying hi to Dennis Allen as well. On the TV side, we'll be joined by JT the Brick for his closing thoughts. Plunk, we'll see you next week against the Bears.
You got it. Looking forward
to
it.
Radio, Tom and I will close it out in just moments. 28-20, the Saints over the Raiders tonight in New Orleans on the Raiders Broadcasting.